Which is kind of apt now, isn't it, with Halloween? When was Halloween even? Maybe you know where Halloween was? Because I don't. I know Dan Dixon was doing something for Halloween, but... Right, so now I guess I better push some buttons then, like this button over here, that button. Yeah, baby, yeah. See, I know how to push the buttons now. Now, just moved it a little bit to the left. There we are. Hey, so look, it's me. I've had a bath now. I feel like $1 million, even though I couldn't find my razor. So, you can have the Peter Gabriel beard look, I'm afraid. Dog's heard I'm talking. She's like, I'm tired of this crap. So she's gone now. She's just gone down the stairs. She probably thinks she's being told off. Oh, it's hot. Look, I wear the nice thing that you bought for me, which has the Malamute on it, but the real Malamute is like, I'm tired of this crap. So she's gone. Anyway, let's say hello to some people in the channel whilst I pour beer. That seems like no picture, Matt. No, I bet there is there now. I need 4 beers. Yeah. Right, now I want to get it so that... I want to get it so... Well, I think it lets me know if somebody's donated and I can scroll up and I can see who it is. That's kind of what I want. So, yeah. Let's see if anybody's donated. Well, Richard Warnock, thank you for your donation on the previous stream. And apologies, because it's only the second time I've used the software. And it creates a stream at a time with a name. And that's all ready to go. And when it's ready to absolutely go, there we are. Gary donated £1 through Super Chat. So you see, it works. It's working. It's amazing, isn't it? Wonders of technology. I'm hot though. I'll have to. I'll be hot. I'll be getting much hotter after a couple of these. Anyway, right. I think I've earned these. I hope in the chat channel we get some of the guys up that were with me today. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. No reply off Alex. Ned possibly. So I don't know if you want code to get in, let me know. Oh shit, I meant to send Taffy, said 10 minutes before I start show. Right, mate, I'm going live. I forgot to tell you, but I cocked it at the beginning anyway, but we're live now. Right, so what happened today then? Went out with the boat for the first time. I haven't really got much footage of a good quality. I did do a live stream, as you saw, so there's footage there. The other people shot stuff on gimbals, so it was stabilized, because one of my pet hates is like this kind of boing boing when you're on a boat, you know, so especially with the waves. Well, hey, Sean Croucher donated £0.79, 0.79 of a pound. He did. He donated it. So I think she's on the stairs actually. She's wondering. Well, hey, 2112 PDS just subscribed. Hello, hello. Well done for subscribing. With a look at the Malamutes. So I'm going to put the invite code, but this is going to be for people I'm hoping that were there today, such as Alex, Ned, or Steve. Oh, what do I have to do? Sign in to the chat. What? Sign in? Oh my, what? This is why this is so weird. I don't need this. I don't need that. Will it work if I get that out of the... No, see, if I bring something up on top of the thing, I can't then... Right, I know what I probably did. I probably did like this last time. Here we go. Ticker, ticker. Right, oop. No, it wasn't quite that. It was... What else was it then? What else did I do last time? Is this capable of moving? Hang on. And bring it full screen, nearly full screen. Rackrav, £10 through Super Chat. You mean you donate money to see person who can't operate things very well? Oh no, I know what I'll do. Sorry, forget that. I reduce the screen on this side, that side, and I hide the chat there. Because it doesn't matter if I refresh, resize this screen. No, wrong button. It's just... Thank you. So where's the things that allow me to resize the screen? Where are they? Right. Thank you. Here we go. It's coming. Who's sending me messages then? Right, okay. So, first...
Yeah, it's all cool, man.
No, I don't want that better. No, I didn't want that. I know. Bollocks. Leave the phone alone. Stop texting me. Sorry. Leave phone alone. Right. Stop texting me. Live stream. Right. This is what I want. Right. Live now. Where's the chat? Yes. Bring that over to the other screen. Drop it there. There's the chat. Thank you. £10 from Rackrav. I met the inventor of windowsill. What a ledge. Okay. Windows ill or windowsill. What a ledge. I see. What a legend. I see what you mean, sir. Yes. Ha 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 ha. I got to laugh at their jokes. They gave me 10 quid. So ha 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 ha. I got there in the end, didn't I? I always get there in the end. So yeah. Matt, I'm talking Indian. Okay, so I've got the chat now. So there we are. Chat is now a thing. I can see the chat and I can interact with it as well. So this is a thing now. It is indeed a thing. Can I just get rid of this chat one over there? Ah, I can. I don't need to see it twice. That's good. There we go. Now that looks better. Right, okay, so what's the first thing then? I forgot to take my 360 camera. This was supposed to be my gimbal, so I don't have to have my hands, so I don't have to hold on to it. I realise I really need something to hold my phone, so I can use it not only for navigation, but I can then be hands on the throttle and steering at the same time. So that was something for the thing. I forgot to take any of my cameras. I didn't take any cameras at all, and the reason for this was because I didn't even think I was going to be going to do the boat today, because when I dropped the dog off earlier on, there was a burning smell coming from the disc, the back disc out of the car. So I thought that the discs had worn down and it was really hot, and then I realized it was probably just seized up a bit. So I worked the handbrake a bit, and you know, sort of, it was fine for the rest of the day. And I thought the wheel would probably overheat and I'd have smoke coming off it, but it didn't happen. So oh, Joe Smith just subscribed. And was there something before that? Sorry, I'm not looking at... I have to make different ones, so if it's a subscribe, it's one sound. If it's something else, it's one other sound. What? I'll be Matt says... Matt. No picture. What? Why not? What? Oh, right, because that's not up. Sorry. Well, you don't need to see, do you? It's just, we'll make it into an audio vlog, this. Look, sorry, you're right. Oh yeah, I should look at that over there, and then I know then. Right, I was gonna put, but that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna put the chat thing in, and then it wouldn't work because it wouldn't let me have the chat thing. So there we are. I'm gonna paste the chat thing in, but the streaming software said I had to sign in. Oh God. So, right, I forgot my camera. This would have acted as a gimbal. The lads had their gimbals. I forgot all my professional camera gear because I thought the wheel wasn't going to be right, so I didn't think I was going to get there. And I lost my adapter that I made. I cannot find it anywhere. I lost the adapter that I made to pump air into the bloody tubes. So at about, hey, here's Mr. Exploring with Carl. Now, bear in mind, Carl, I did say that I was going to try and let the guys come on who were there with me this afternoon, but I'll add you in anyway. How are you doing, sir?
Very well, thank you very much, Matthew Williams. Thank you for inviting me on.
Thank you
Appreciate that.
for the interception and allowing you to penetrate my stream mid-flow.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Okay, it'll be good. What do you reckon to this white beard then?
Yeah, been noticing that lately. The last couple of days. Yeah, you keeping that going, aren't you?
I can't find my razor from the Isle of Wight trip we just did. It's in the car somewhere. I just haven't dug it out yet.
Right. Yeah, I did notice that a couple of days ago. You've been live streaming with a bit of a white beard. Coming up to Christmas, though.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know. It's just an alternative, isn't it? Instead of being like big old black beard, you have a big old white beard. So
yeah. Let's not mention anyone from Wales like Taffy with his big beard.
Big black beard. Yeah, Mr. Blackbeard. Yeah. So, what was it now? There was no camera gear with me, and I didn't think I was going to make it down, and I just said, oh, sod it. I'm just going to go and see how we go. And then I was just like, right, and cameras were the last thing on my mind then. So I forgot my 360. I didn't take the other cameras. I just thought if I can get down there and get that boat on the water, we'll be thing. I forgot where I put the adapter that I'd made, which was like, it's sort of like one of these. You've got to sort of like push in, twist type thing. So I took one of the other, there's 3 pump things. I took one of them. I've already used one. I took one and cannibalized it. But it took time to glue it. And I looked at another one. I took another one out. And I thought, right, okay, I'll drill a hole in you, and I'm just going to I'm going to force a pipe in, and I'm going to hold the pipe there under pressure, and that way I got air in, and I didn't have to glue it. So I'm like, right, so on the spot, so this is I can think on the spot. I'm like, right, how do you make one of these when you've got nothing and you've got no time and people are waiting for you to come and get the boat? And I'm like, right, drill a hole. Under pressure, exactly, yeah. So I'm like, right, so I've sorted out the wheel. The wheel seems okay now. I've sorted out the air. Let's just go. So I'm in that sort of mood then. Let's just go. I don't care about filming now. That's it. I'm just going for fun. I just want to see what the boat's like. So I got down there. It was a breeze. It's absolute breeze. Drove up. Like the lads were there, and I'm like, well, I don't have to put the engine on. The engine's already on. I don't have to do the fuel. The fuel's already on. All I have to do is see if it'll start. It started. I'm like, great. So let's get it in the water. Got it in the water. One last snag. It started once. I thought there was loads of charge in the battery. I looked at the voltages and I thought this has got loads because like nin, 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 nin. I was like, but today it went nin, 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 nin. So it didn't have much charge in it. So I had to go and get the car after we put it in the water. I had to go and get the car, get the jump leads, come down, jump it on the water. Then for the rest of the day, I didn't want to stop the engine because I was worried that the engine wouldn't start again. So I let them go and do their things whilst I just sat there. Actually, it's got the best seat ever. It's got like a proper foam like that, and you can just sit back, and it's just like you're in a reclining super chair. You know, it's brilliant. So that was cool. Right. So we got it out there, and I got the guys over to the Spitforts. We went over to St Helens, and
beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. So St Helens, and
did you get any grief off that when you went there? Was it okay?
No. St Helens is abandoned, and that's near the Isle of Wight. That's the smallest of them. That's the first one I put out. And these were both totally abandoned. They're not the ones with the hotels.
Right. Okay.
So no aggro there at all.
Right. So, okay. Oh,
no,
wow.
We were all good.
Yeah. Brilliant. How much time did you spend on there? Because I managed to come on your live stream earlier today at work. Then I had to cut off.
Well, we were 2 hours on the live stream of me going around with the boat and all that sort of stuff.
Because when I came on, you said, "Do you want to come to the ship? I'll take you to the ship." And then I had to go off the live stream then because I was working. Because unfortunately, I was working this morning, so I missed that bit.
Well, here's the thing. I went into Portsmouth Harbour and went past 2 aircraft carriers. And they're bloody huge, you know. They're like immaculate condition, brand new.
Beautiful.
But what I understand is, I'm told, I don't know if this is true, but I heard a while back, is that we don't have aircraft to go on them. Because we haven't got... we've got aircraft carriers, we ain't got no aircraft. So,
no.
I don't know if that's true.
I blame the government for that.
So, anyway, I sort of had a look at them, and I was like sitting there, and you could see there's 3 police vessels in front of the, 3 police, so they are really serious. Like, you ain't getting anywhere near these warships, these aircraft carriers. So, it was, had a little look around, and then went back out to the Spitforts where I dropped the lads off. One was called Horse Sands, which is abandoned, and one which is St. Helens. So the boat, just amazing. It's like, it comes up onto the not wave, on the plane. It comes up onto the plane, and it just whoosh goes along. Bit of a trick to get it onto the plane and all that, but yeah, it was really good, and it was doing about 20 miles an hour, so about 17 knots.
Something like that.
Yeah, 17 knots, 20 miles an hour. Yeah. Now my other one would only do 17. Was it knots or miles an hour? It might have been. Yeah, it was like 13 knots, 17 max. But the thing is, that was absolutely flat out. And the thing was just going bang, 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 because it's totally flat. This one's got the V, and it just rises up out of the water, and it's just like zoom. So the actual pods on the side are not making contact with the water. Yeah, it's like a bit of a hovercraft. It sort of comes up out of the water, and those pods are there for just if you get a nasty wave or if to stop you sinking, sort of thing. But you're above it, like you just come right up. It's really cool. So so I don't know if these guys are going to come on, but one of them said that he would try to.
Sorry. We had guests who are coming on.
Well, it's going to be you, I think, by the looks of it. Ned, who was there, and Alex, who are part of Vacant Haven, and they live in sort of Portsmouth, and then you got Steve, who's from Exploring Within. So. The channels are quite small right now, but they're growing. And
I've heard of them. Yeah, I've heard of them.
They've all just like upped their game by getting gimbals and stuff, and their photography is just like, it's leaps and bounds now. Leaps and bounds. So I think somebody said the Man Pon in the channel. So I better acknowledge the channel. I normally do this. I'll quickly run through the names, right? Oh, thank you, Gary, for your £1 donation. If that's as far back as I can go. If anybody donated before that, then I ain't seeing it. So Sean Croucher 79, I did see that. We got Donna in the channel. Hello, Donna. She's one of the mods. Liam is there. He's one of the mods, and Merlin's one of the mods. Simon BA, Chris Thornley, Twisted Broken Things, Minosaurus. Rackrav, who gave me £10 and told me the most amazing joke in the world about I met the inventors of windowsill. I met the inventor of windowsill recently. What a ledge!
The inventor? What a ledge!
He got it quicker than I did. See, here we are.
I used to be a window fitter, so I know that.
Yeah,
I can get on that ledge.
Yeah. Exploring with Kim and Dan, thank you for donation 199. Loved the virtual boat ride on live earlier on. I wish I could have had hands free or my phone stuck on my head. Maybe that would have been smoother. But yeah, I need to get it fixed so I can use it as a navigation and whatever. I need to do that. So we'll
I
get
heard
it.
about you saying about different things when you was going out in the boat. Said we're going to do this, do that, then put the camera down inside the bag. You're going to be in the bag, so you won't hear much. Blah blah blah, and that's when I had to cut off. Then I was at work, so I only got that.
So people could hear it, that even though I had it inside this bag. I can't wait to play it back, actually, to hear what it was like, because I thought that it would kind of muffle the sound.
Yeah, did it work well then with the audience?
I think they really enjoyed it, from what I could see, because I was picking up the occasional comment. And yeah, so they said, Exploring Kim and Dan, they said they loved the stream earlier on. So Catherine Day, thank you for your donation, £2. She says hello, Catherine. And so who else we got? Deco Floyd, Exploring with Carl, whoever he is. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Don't let him on. Minosaurus. Albie says black screen. He did in fact put all like devils earlier on. I was like, why somebody put all these like devils there? He's like, meh, 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 meh. But then I was like, what's wrong then? It's like, oh, because there's no screen. So yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Is that the host's fault?
It's probably, yeah. No, I blame the guests that have no control over it at all. Yeah, I would blame them. Urbix with Taffy, hello, sir. How are you doing, Mr. Nightlaw? Urbix with Taffy's in the back. He's not here. He's tapping in the chat channel.
Is the name is for this season? Taffy Apple. Taffy Apple.
Taffy Apple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which in Welsh is probably taffy apple. Yeah, because that's the way Welsh works. Or a taffy apple. A taffy apple.
Taffy apple. Because it's coming up to like bonfire night, Halloween bonfire night. So taffy apple.
Yeah.
Because we've got an apple on his t-shirt.
So we got Urban Legends in there. Wahee. Matt
Hey,
L.
Urban Legend.
Yeah, my God.
I think we're all going to get together, aren't we, soon? 2 weeks of it.
We got to try really hard not to say where though. It's going to get. I know I'll probably blurt it out at some point. Just I'll be going, no.
We know where we're going.
I know where we're going, but it's just like we forget that we're Yeah,
we're all going to get together. It'd be brilliant. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait. Especially because I might bring this mad new boat, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be brilliant.
Either the small one or that one, But either way, job done.
Yeah, definitely.
Bucharest Guided Tours. Thank you for your £3 donation. Evening Vault from Bucharest Guided Tours. Bucharest. Nice one.
Bucharest. Matthew.
Yes, Carl.
Just like to say, my battery is going low on my phone again, like it always does. So if it cuts off, I'll have to go. But bring someone else in on the chat.
Okay, well, they've got that thing, but yeah, I need to sort of go through some of the stories of today, I suppose, but I can bounce them off somebody else or just chat myself. But I'm more likely to listen to people in the chat channel if I speak myself, I suppose. That's one thing, isn't it?
Yes. And I'd just like to say thank you very much. And I will come off the panel and let someone else in, give them a little speech.
Go and get your USB sorted on your phone. Take it to one of those little, say like Indian market stalls. No, racist. It's like perfectly.
Yeah, we're not racial. We're not racist.
No, I'm just saying that it seems to be there's a lot of Indian people for some reason seem to like having stores that do mobile phones. They certainly do in Swindon anyway.
Yeah. When they do your phones though, afterwards the screens they knacker up.
Do they?
Replace your screen and then all things go wrong, don't they?
Do they? Oh right.
Yeah, with them dodgy shops.
Oh right, okay. I've never really used one. I've always repaired stuff myself, to be honest. But
no, best way. Somebody you know. Oh yeah, sort my laptop out, my screen. I'll send you the details and blah blah blah. Yeah. Anyway, I'll come off the panel and yes.
Get yourself a computer that can connect.
Yeah.
You'll be all right then.
Definitely. I'll come off the panel and let you carry on.
Okay then, I'll leave you.
Have a good note.
Catch you in a bit.
Thank you for letting me know.
Thank you very much, Carl. See you soon.
I'll see you soon. Thank you, everyone, in the chat. See you soon. I'll be back in the chat. Yeah. See you soon, mate.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Ooh, what a thoroughly horrible man. No, just kidding. Right. Right, that's a Monty Python joke, by the way, for any people that don't understand jokes. Grant Mika, oh dear, be naughty, is he? Right. Belinda Moles, Simon Lapworth. Right. We've spent what, like half an hour, and I haven't really talked about very much. Richard Warnock, Land Roamer. Thank you for your donations earlier on. Haunted Coachman Natalie. Yeah, I've got. Look, they're all here. Look, I just haven't. Look, they're all here. They're all here to be sent out to a few lucky people, but I haven't got around to it yet because it was like today was just I've got to get in my boat. Right. So let's go through things then. So hello to everybody in the channel. So I think I covered most of the names there. Vox Nuts, Jess Matthews as well, Pompey Card, Exploring with Tints, hello, Matty England. I try to not to leave anybody if I can. Oh, Paul Addo, Carl is definitely going to see me soon. Yes, I hope so. Yep, we're going to all meet up and we're going to have some fun. So that should be really good. And I will have my stitches out by then because I'm having my stitches cut out tomorrow on my leg. So let's have a look what it's looking like. It's got some green slime coming through it at the moment. Can you see that? But that's all right because that's the iodine. That's the iodine because I wet it accidentally. I did put it in a plastic bag so I wouldn't wet it, but it just got wet straight away. So it was just rubbish. So what happened then? So we got on the water. The boat was amazing. Handles really well. Unlike the tiller control, which is like you tiny little movements. It's like whoa, whoa. It's like so it's really oversensitive. So this one you can just turn the steering wheel and you get very tiny little movements. So it's great. If you turn the steering wheel a lot, it'll do a lot. But it's very easy to keep it going in pretty much a straight line, which is kind of hard to do with a tiller. It's not easy. And having the throttle there as well, great, because forwards means forwards, back means back. Whereas when you've got to throttle it, it's, I don't know, you get a bit white knuckly on the tiller as well. You can hold it quite hard. Whereas, you know, you can kind of relax. It's nice. You're sitting up on a seat and it's just like, oh, yeah, it's much better. So the bottom line is, I needed to get the boat in the water to check it. I needed to know if the engine was going to work, if the boat was going to hold air. Sorry, it's beer. I needed to know all these things before I could then make the decision, yes, now I can sell the other one. Because I don't need two, and the other one is way too big. I mean, it's great if you just want to have a party load of people and just poodle along at slow speed. That's brilliant, you know, and it's actually pretty good on fuel as well, even though it's got a much bigger engine. But yeah, a little bit outside my needs. This one did use a fair bit of fuel, but we did a fair old distance. We went no man's land, then I went to Portsmouth and back, then I took him to the St. Helens Fort. Then we went to Portsmouth again to show them the warships, the aircraft carriers. And then we came away and we pretty much used most of the fuel. It was really quite low. More of that later. So that was about £20 worth of fuel, or 20 litres of fuel. So it had used 20 litres in that distance. Now I know that it was 6 miles out to, it's probably 6 miles out to, so that's 12 back into Portsmouth. So that's 18 back to No Man's. Probably about 24 over to St. Helens. And then back to Portsmouth, which will probably be about 6, I'd say that's probably about 8 then. 8 back, so you're talking like what, sorry, I've lost count now, so say 30 something miles, 30 miles for 20 quid on a boat. I don't know if that's good value or not, but it's certainly good fun. But you know, so what else was there then? So we went out to these places and it was so much easier to get people on because I had good control. I could very finely maneuver the boat up and then pull it back and sort of hold it in position on the engine. I could do that, which was hard to do before. So position was good. Getting people on and off was really quite easy as well. That was good. So it sort of started okay. I realised there was a problem whereby it was idling. It had a low idle, so you'd start it and it'd just be like, and because of that, it would die easily when you put it into gear because it didn't have enough revs. And once the propeller kicked in, those revs weren't really enough to go. So I noticed that you could get it into gear and rev quite quickly, and it might pick up, but it cut a few times, and I was like, okay. So I started it back up quickly. It started, but I just adjusted the idle speed control. So I went into the engine, adjusted the idle speed up. Didn't seem to have a problem after that. We did run out of fuel, and it sort of glugged, and it was like, what's going on here? And I thought it was an electrical fault, and we sort of stopped, and then sort of like played with a plunger, pumped some fuel through, and it was like, okay, and then started. It was okay, moved off again, and it stopped. Now, this actually happened later on when we'd come away from both of the Spitforts. We went into Portsmouth to show the lads the two big aircraft carriers and all the warships and stuff like that. Now, I didn't realise, but because the tide was going out, it meant that all the water that was in Portsmouth was rushing out. Now, as I tried to explain to people before, like when you get a narrow gap, the water rushes faster through that gap. Well, the channel of Portsmouth comes down to a gap. So when the tide is coming down, it shoots at high speed through there. And there's a lot of currents and a lot of curlers and all sorts of stuff going on. Anyway, so we were coming towards this, and the engine decided to cough. And I was like, oh shit, And then next thing you know, the engine's cut out, and we're going backwards out of the harbour. So we've just been coming towards it. Now we're going, and it's going, because it's doing about 20 miles an hour, I think it was. Because we were going flat out to get in there, and we were only just creeping in like that. So it's about 20 miles an hour. So when the engine cut, it was like, woo! We were going backwards out of the harbour, which was crazy. So I managed to get it going, start the engine again, and I was like, well, what's going on here then? It's like, is it spark plug? Is it water in the fuel? It was like, we went through all like these things. It started. I got us in, and whilst we were coming in, we went to have a look at. I won't say on here because it's something interesting. Okay, I'll just say we had to look at something interesting. Somebody said, how's the lad that had the seizure? He's perfectly fine, and he's not had any seizures since. Perfectly fine. Don't know what that was about. It's probably just boats were just a little bit too amazing for his brain, and he like slightly blew a fuse. So yeah, he's been fine since apparently. Haven't spoken to him, but I've heard through friends. Right, so where were we? So we were went to look at something, and on the way out had problems with the engine again. Managed to get it started, carried on, and it just seemed like it was starting to happen a bit more and a bit more. And I even started to think, well, maybe it's because I was putting the engine up, and maybe the carburettor doesn't like the angle, and it's the float in the carburettor might be doing something. So I was like, so I'll keep the engine down. So I kept the engine down. It was still doing it. I'm like, so maybe it's not that. And it's like, you definitely got fuel. And I was like, looking at it. It was like, yeah, there's like this much in the bottom of the tank, which is like this. It's like that much in there. I'm like, it's definitely got fuel. And it's like, so anyway, we were going out, and I heard a call on the radio. And check this out now, right? The call was, there is a warship leaving the dock. It has been cleared for movement. Everyone needs to keep out of the way. So there were police boats coming back and forth, and they were sort of checking to make sure that the coast was clear, because this thing was coming out and it wanted to be boosh, fast out. Yeah. So I thought, like a couple of people in front of me, that we could just quickly, we'll get out of here now, no problem. I'll just scoot off and it'll be fine. So I started to make my way out, and the engine cut. Boom. Now, where I was in the channel of the mouth of Portsmouth, it meant that I was in this flow again, and it was wanting to go out. but it was taking me towards rocks on the edge. So I had to radio straight away. I was like, shit. So I just radioed. I said, Harbour Master, engines cut. We are adrift. Don't know what the status is. I'll get back to you. And he said, yeah, let me know. And he started radioing, telling everybody, including the warship that was just getting going, there's a problem. And it was like, so I managed to get the engine started again, and we moved a little bit further, and I'm like, and then it went again. It's like, shit, this is just like, what the hell? So at this point, right, I said to them, look, I'm just going to look in this fuel tank and see if there's a problem. So I had a good look in there, and I could see the fuel pipe was going down into the fuel and coming up the other side. So the fuel level was like this, but the pipe was going down into it where it should be in drinking. It went down and came back up, so it wasn't getting any fuel. So of course, this bit here, the bit that was drinking, was near the back of my seat. So that's front of the boat, yeah? So of course, if you put the throttle on, all the fuel goes to the back of the boat. So it was starving the engine of fuel. And when you stopped, all the fuel would rush back, and it would slop to the front. You'd pump it, it'd start up again. And then when you drive away again, the fuel goes back, it starved it, and you'd stop again. I said, boys, I know what it is. So I quickly undid the fuel tank. And Steve, he offered to put his foot underneath it. So Steve put his foot underneath the fuel tank. So as he did that, the fuel tank was now being held up at an angle, which was to the back of my seat, pointed towards the back of my seat. Started up. Brilliant. Worked a treat. No more problems. Plenty of fuel. Job done. But I did say, well, actually, it's not a bad thing if you think about it, because it warns you, by that being the way it is, that you're down to your last bit of fuel. So I may not modify it. I could make it drink till it's dead, but then you're going to be out of fuel and you won't have any more fuel. But by doing it that way, it's kind of like a little bit of a mini reserve, like you have on a motorbike, where you can turn that last bit on, but it's warning you, like, you are running out now, this is really last chance. It's warning you, yeah. So I know the trick. If push comes to shove, we can always tip the tank up. And I'll probably put some wooden things in there, so I can just jam them up there. So, like wooden door stops. I'm going to make some wooden door stops. I'll keep them in the boat. So if necessary, I can just loosen off because it's held on by, not cables. It's this stuff, braid. It's held on by ties, like this sort of stuff, yeah. So it's basically all you have to do is just loosen it a bit, and then it can lift. And I'll just jam some of those up there, so it's at a bit of an angle. And Bob's your uncle. It should be fine. Hello, Sue Dilworth. Who's that then? Simon, keep the fuel tank topped up. That's another thing. Is yes, we need more fuel. So, but we were monitoring it. And we said, well, look, we've got like an inch of fuel, so we're all right. We can get back on that, because we were just in Portsmouth. It's just round the corner to where we literally needed to drop the boat off. So it was like we had fuel, but it's just fuel level. So yes, anyway, but it's a lesson learned. I mean, I've learned the foibles of 3 engines now and 3 systems, and they're all different, and they all have little quirks, and this is the quirk of this one. So I'm going to charge that battery up, and I'm going to see now whether it holds a charge. I didn't think that the battery had a problem, because it was actually showing like 12.58 on net, hadn't been turned over, and it was like, turn it on, it was developing power, it was charging, but with such a high voltage, like 12.58 on a battery, I was thinking, well, it's obviously charged, because a lot of batteries will give you like sort of 11 to 12, but 12.58, that's pretty good. So I thought, this is going to be okay. I don't need to charge this battery before we took it out. Turns out I was wrong. It shows high, but it probably didn't have a lot of charge in it. So anyway, lesson learned there again. So, don't trust the voltmeter telling you it looks like it's charged. Give it a charge. So I think the other thing is a spare battery. And, because there's room for it. why not? You know, you got another spare battery. You can just take these clips off, pop them on another one. Job done. So yeah, all in all though, I think, you know, we've kind of, I've ironed out a lot of the little snags there, and it rides really well, goes through the waves really well, get great speed. We got from A to B in very good time. Quite comfortable. Not so comfortable for the people who are sitting down on the back, but certainly very comfortable for me, the pilot, which I think is, you know, is kind of pilot of the boat. So yeah, I mean, that was something. Right, so what else happened then? So yeah, that was the basic, that was the madness we had of today. And there probably were some other things as well. Just trying to think now. We didn't get any aggro from anybody when we were out on the spit forts. Everything was pretty much like the last time we went there. Very easy to get on the St. Helens. The door's open. It's just ajar. You know, nothing had changed on the Horse Sands one. Obviously, you know, the two hotels are secured. Those are they've got people on them and security, so you can't necessarily go to those ones. But the other two, which are very good, you know, I think they were on there for an hour and a half or 2 hours exploring around on that one. So you certainly got some good footage. So yeah, they were really happy with that. And I mean, I was just relaxing in the boat, messing around with little bits and pieces, and just taking it easy, to be honest. So from that point of view, it was not too stressy, because I think if I'd got off the boat and gone around with them and done stuff, I probably would have drained my energy reserves a little bit more. Even though I put the boat into the water, the fact that I put this new white grease in the bearings meant that it didn't rinse out. I did take the caps off and look to see whether the bearings still had any grease in there. Lo and behold, the grease was still there. I did pack a little bit more in just for good measure, but pretty much, yeah, no problem with the bearings. So that worked out quite well. So the new bearings, and what else was there? Oh yeah, I did manage to cock up slightly. The light bar, you know, that has the number plate on it and all that stuff. When I put that on this morning and plugged it into the car, everything was fine, and I sort of yanked it to make sure that it couldn't go down and touch the floor. So I thought. But when I got to the other end, it had come down and touched the floor and chopped the wire. So the wire's now in two parts, and I have to go and get it and strip bare the wires off and put it back into the connector. So that happened, but I could have sworn I checked it, and I was like, this is not going to go down to the floor now, is it? No, it hasn't got the ability to. And then there must have been a bit of wire jammed somewhere, because it did. It went down to the floor when I was driving and severed it. So I drove back this evening without the light bar, so no lights on the back of the car. And like when it happened to me previously, something else happened similar. You don't have to get a lot of people flashing you. It's like, where's your lights? Where's your lights? You ain't got no lights. And they're like, yeah, I know. So in the end, I went in the car and I dug out some little LEDs, and I sort of hung them on the thing just so there was some light on the light bar, you know. But yeah. Anyway. So that's it really. Got back in, drove it back onto the on the back of the car. Ridiculously easy to do, lightweight, super light. Tied it up really quickly, you know, so much easier than the other boat. I mean, the other boat's okay, but you know, you do need a couple of people to do it, because you have to lift that heavy engine on and all that. So I'm not going to miss that. But if you're somebody that actually has a place where you could keep the engine on it, or, you know, not have to take it off because it's going to be instantly accessible, might be an okay boat. But all that putting the boat engine in the back of the car and driving it down there and having to get out the back of the car and lift it on and all that, you know, it was a bit of a challenge, must be honest. So now I know I can sell the other boat. That's the point. So there we are. Fuel tank fix. Inside the tank. Oh, hang on. That went. Where's it gone? Where'd that go? Somebody sent me a message and then it disappeared. Fuel tank fix. Oh, there we are. I don't know why that happened. Fuel tank fix. Inside the tank, use a flex hose to the lowest point with a small check valve. Check valve. The hose will always lay in the lowest position. But that's what it's meant to be like anyway. That's what it's meant to be like. But the point was, today we saw that the pipe went in, down to the lowest point, and curved back up the other side because the pipe's too long. So the pipe's pointing up the other side. Pipe's not meant to do that. Pipe's meant to be, as far as I'm aware, a pipe is meant to go in and dangle down, and it's meant to have a little weight on the end of it, yeah, with a filter, so it drops down to the lowest point. Yeah, that's how they're meant to work. But this one pops up the other side. But like I said, it does kind of give you this 1 inch reserve. So you know if it starts glugging, you haven't got much fuel left. But it's not going to empty you completely out of fuel. If you tip it, yeah, you're going to get more out of it. But I don't quite think your idea is going to fix it, because it is meant to be like that anyway. Apart from if I do want to actually go in there, chop a bit of the pipe off, but I don't know. We'll see. Time to change the boat for a Sea-Doo jet ski. I saw people blasting around today on those things, and they are so fast. But also, when things go wrong on a jet ski, you go flying. Woo! Through the air, because it's like a motorbike. It's like when you hit a nasty wave, you go this way, the jet ski goes that way. Yeah, and it's like, so, yeah. Small check valve. Right, it says it's like the warning light for fuel on a car. A couple of rubber wedges would do the job. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just wedge it up and make the fuel tank lower on one end. Yeah, we'll sort something out. I mean, just carry more fuel is the answer as well. I mean, I've got plenty of jerry cans, and I've got plastic cans as well. So there's no excuse. And if I went on, which I'm thinking like right now, see, I was coming back on the boat, and I was like, as I was driving it back, I was like, right, France, yeah, yeah, Jersey, yeah, Scilly Isles, yeah, Isle of Man, See, so brain is ticking over now. And you are definitely going to have to fill the boat with lots of fuel for those trips. But I don't exactly know how much more fuel efficient it would be if it was just me on the boat, as opposed to we had 3 others on the boat, so a total of 4 people today. So if it was just me and one other, but then the fuel, and it very much depends on the position as well. If they were all sitting in the back, that boat would go up like that, and I couldn't get it to go on the plane. So I did once or twice, but I had to say, can you move forward? So they seat them forward, and then the boat would go up, and then their weight would pull the boat forward, and then it would shoot off on the plane. So we'll have to have a little look at what the best configurations are. But I think for me and one other, or 2 others, definitely a good one. Once you get to 3, then it's a little bit of extra weight. I mean, to be honest, it was fine. It's just getting it up onto the plane was a little bit more interesting. And I said, if you could just sit up the front, get it onto the plane and then come down the side, or I got him to sit a little bit more level with me, and it was fine. There we are. So what are people saying then? Matt's tank wedgies. Yeah, absolutely. Salty McBoatface. But, I tell you what though, I was up at 5 o'clock this morning to get this happening. And what with all the crap with the car not being right and the wheel overheating and da-da-da. I mean, I got down there by about 10:30, I think it was. We were in the water within half an hour. And most of that was just buggering about with it. I had to get the jump leads and stuff, you know, to get it started. So, you know, 12.7 is full. Whatever. Okay, so possibly the, oh, I see, because you take it off when you're filling up. No, 12 point, not 12.7, 18, I don't know, an inch. Well, I don't know what an inch is. I don't know what people are talking about. Anyway, right, possibly the HMS Queen Elizabeth. I don't know what that, where is this? What do you mean? How's your battery on the Cobra Marine Band going? It's lasting a good long time. Yeah, it's great. Mind you, it probably needs a charge now, and I'll have to find a better way to do this, because every time I wear it, I put it in my thing for my life jacket, and then when I open the life jacket, it just drops on the floor, and it's taken a few good bangs. But I've contacted the lifeguard on it a few times, you know, and not lifeguard, Coast Guard and Harbour Master. Perfectly good radio. Yeah. Captain gets comfort standard on any boat. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I did say to one of the guys, I said, you know, if you want to, you know, you can sit behind me, you know, you can actually just sit there and just knees out sort of thing. And then you'd have the comfort, and you'd be able to lean against the back bit. Because when you're operating it, you can't really lie back like that, because you can't really steer the wheel. But like, you sort of sit up, and it's more natural to be up because of the banging of the boat. You sort of like, you know, pitching back and forth. But when you come to rest, having that lie back, it was like, oh, this is just lush. It's just lush. So yeah. Loved the video of the hotel fort. Oh, you thought that was good. You wait till you see the next one. The next one makes that one look a bit basic. Oh yeah. And it's a lot bigger as well. So Richard Warnock says, I need a new bearing. Is this a bearing for a trailer, or Matt, can you tell Donna what the salute was in the Marvel video? Hint. Well, it's more like a war. I thought it was a war cry, right? But what it actually is, it's Ian Bombay. But we all say it's Bombay. Bombay. That's what we say. But it's like, it's actually Ye Bombay. It's a Y. Ye Bombay, and it's from the movie The Black Panther, load of shit, right? But it's from that, and it's not actually a war cry. What it is when they're going into battle, Yibambe means we're ready, but stand still, stand waiting. It's like, we wait for the fight. We wait for the fight. Wait. Yeah, it's like, don't do anything stupid. Wait, we're ready. It's like, wait for the fight. So Ibombe, we use it as like da 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 Ibombe, but they use it in the movie. The true meaning for it is to like say, hang on boys, don't go doing anything too crazy just yet. So, but we use it the other way, which is like da 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 da. That's what we use it for. But yeah, because it sounds like it's a war cry. It's like, you're gonna get your eating head kicked in. That's the way it comes across in the movie. It's like, you Bombay, like, we're gonna kick, you're going home in a African ambulance, or you know, you're going home in a Wakanda ambulance, or shall I try the accent? You go home in a Wakanda ambulance. Because that's what I hated about that movie, was it's bloody hard to understand what people were saying, because they used these like rich, over-the-top accents, which, to be perfectly honest, I wish they'd subtitled, because it was just really hard to understand, and I thought it spoilt the movie. And anyway, anyway, I would get accused of racism now. I did before, but I still stand fast on that one. You know, it was such a bloody hard one to understand. And a pretty childish movie as well. The thought that, you know, you've got all these weapons and all that, and people take away their superpowers in order to have a normal fight, fisty fight. But they've got rid of their superpowers in order to have a fisty fight to prove who can be king. And like, why haven't they given these superpowers to everyone in the land so they can all fight like superheroes? Why are they only going to get? Why do they only give the superpower, which was actually just a plant? Yeah, it's a plant. So why do they give the superpower only to the king to defend all the people when it comes down to it? You need all those people to fight in an army, but they're not superpowered up because you haven't allowed them to be superpowered up. They've got to fight like normal humans and die really easily. Whereas the king has got superpowers and he can fight really hard. I mean, it's just like the plot lines in that movie were just shit. You know. Anyway, the bird confronting the drone was wonderful. Yes, that was quite good fun. Yeah, it was good. What? I cut off again. I cut off, did I? Oh, it says warning, the stream. Ooh. Warning, the stream what? The stream does what? The stream is what? The stream current bitrate is blur, is lower than the recommended. Oh, that's right, though. I don't give a shit what your recommended is, as long as it works. So, where were we? Right, what have we done then? So we got out in the boat. They've got some amazing footage. Their minds are blown. I bet they'll be buzzing for days and days after that. And I am too. Oh, here we are. The Black Panther comments are coming in. Yes, Black Panther, Wakanda was not a very diverse country. I know it wasn't, was it? It was all black people. So you talk about people who didn't like the movie being racist. Well, they didn't really have many white people in Wakanda, did they? Yeah, that's right. So, it's 105 miles. No. From Fleetwood to there. Oh, so that's a bit far, isn't it? Bit far. Running out of ideas. Well, I was thinking it's only 20 miles from the English coast to Calais, and then you can come down the coastline and you can get to Jersey much easier. Oh, there won't be others now because the lead actor died. What? Who's that? Who died? What, the Wakanda guy? It was 100% diverse. I want a boat. Cost. Depends how much you want to pay. I mean, there were two kiddies out on this huge rib, and it just had two seats there, but they were just like sort of, look at us. But it's a rib, but it's like, hang on, you could have got like 10 people, you could have got like tables and chairs, you could have had like a front cabin to sleep in, but it was just like, yeah, I'm a rib, and I'm huge, and then two big chairs, and it was just like, what's the point of that? Right? And they were just tootling along, and I'm like, you're in a bloody big rib. What are you doing? Just poodling along and be like, light speed. Yeah, and it's like, because every chance I had to have that thing flat out, bouncing along, we were on it, like, you know. I mean, it was Chadwick Boseman. Really? Died last month. Did he really? Was he the lead actor in No. Why did he die then? Because of bad accents. He died of bad accent in the Wakanda. He got superhero powers taken from him. It was taken from him by removal of the plant, so he could fight like a normal human being. But then he had to die like one. Oh dear. If only they had not taken the Wakanda energy from him to fight for his being a king. Arse cancer. Cancer. Arse cancer. Really? Obviously wasn't using it enough then, was he? Oh dear, he had colon cancer. He did, yeah. Oh dear. Well, if only he'd made some good movies before he died. Oh dear, did I say that? Yeah, flat out is the way to go. The design of the boat and engine in harmony. Well, the thing is, anytime you've got just a little bit of power on, it's like, yeah, you're moving gently through the water, but like you put loads of power on and nothing happens. It's only when you put all the power on that it then comes up out of the water, and then then it's efficient. So if you don't have anything from like 3/4 to full power on, you're just going to be doing a really crappy speed and using loads of fuel. But if you get, up on the plane, so you've got to find this magic point where you get on the plane, you can pull the power back. Once you get onto the plane, you can pull the power back and you'll still be going faster than you would have, like full power, going slow because you didn't get on the plane. So it's one of those, really. Yeah. If in doubt, flat out. Your impression sounds like the Ricky Gervais sketch about the well. Don't know what that one is. He was in 2 movies knowing he had cancer. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, it's not nice, is it? It's not nice. But it's a bit like that Captain Marvel movie, the Captain Marvel, and everyone like moans about it because it's like a bit cheesy. Now, I didn't mind it, to be honest. I didn't mind it as a movie, but it was a bit cheesy and the storyline was a bit like, oh. So, So Scrinson says, say you were in the channel on a jolly and you came across a bigger rib adrift with 60 people aboard. You have no radio. Do you assist? Yeah, I would. Yeah. So you're on the channel on a jolly, you come across a bigger rib adrift with 60 people on board. You have no radio. Do you assist? Yes. Of course I would assist, but it depends how you'd assist. You could ask them, what's the problem? Is there anything I can help you with? Do you have a technical nature? Should I come on board and see if there's anything I can do to help you? Would you like me to try and tow you? But 60 people on board, right? That's a big rib. Yeah, that's like a ship. You're not going to move it, right? So what would be the best thing? If you've got no radio, you could ask them whether or not they've got a radio. Okay? Because just because I don't have a radio, they may have a radio. Yeah. And also, 60 people on board, you have no radio. Do you assist? I see what you mean now. I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah. And then, well, I mean, what I would say is, if you need assistance and I don't have a radio and you don't have a radio, I will take the best coordinates I can for you and I will go to the mainland and I will get you assistance and they will come out and get you. Because that's the way you would have to do it. And even if that meant, if there was another vessel nearby, you could go to that vessel, get their attention, get them to radio back, and then go back to the original vessel and wait to see if they need any help. Oh. But I see what you mean now. Tow them back to France. Or torpedoes engaged, yeah. No, I would probably help them. But, yeah, I wouldn't be very happy of seeing them, but I'd still help them. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Right, well, I'm not going to stop too long because I think we've kind of covered the boaty things, but some of the guys have got footage of what we did today, and it was pretty amazing. Oh, actually, thinking about it, now I think about it, I have got a bit of footage on here, I think, haven't I, of the warships and stuff that I took. Here we are, and we've got a police escort taking a Canadian warship.
There we are. I think it's called the Halifax.
That's after it got through, after we got our engine going.
No, police escort at the front, police escort at the back. Meanwhile, on board, we're having to tip our fuel tank up to get all the dregs into the engine. E-Bombay.
E-Bombay indeed. There we go. So that was after we cleared the channel so they could get through. Then I pulled off to the side and we just watched them then as they came through. And they were really going for it. They were very quick, and you could see the police boats, and this thing's like whoomph, you know. So yeah. So there we go. Yeah. Do they have flares? Yeah, they could have had flares on board the boat. You know. Depends on the circumstances as well, because you know, if people were on that boat and they were obviously immigrants and you knew you were dealing with people that had probably weapons and things like that, it would probably not be a good idea to come up too close to the boat. You could speak to them, but I would probably stay a distance away, because they could try and commandeer your boat to save themselves, the people who probably got the weapons, and they just leave the rest of the immigrants to just float away on their own. But they'll commandeer your boat so they can hightail it back to the mainland where they came from, so they can go and do more of the same. So I wouldn't be quick to go jumping on board if it looked like a bunch of you know who's. So yeah, what beer am I drowning? It's just Gallaroo. And it is making me feel tired, because I've had a hell of a day today, and I got to say, if you've never done anything like flying or messing around on boats, right? I have no problem staying awake doing that, okay? Because it's just such a buzz. Everything's a buzz about it, especially when little things go wrong. You know, you're just like, your brain's working 10 to the dozen. We had this thing where the gear mechanism locked in forwards and wouldn't go into reverse, so I managed to find out what that was. It just needs a little bit of tightening, because the mechanism that does this had sort of gone chunk and clocked. So I'm going to tighten up the plates so that it can freely move past each other. So that needs doing. So a bit of battery maintenance, a little bit of looking at the fuel, potential things for the fuel system. Don't know really. Oh, definitely something to put the phone on. That'd be really good, really good. Get my hands free. So what's a Canadian warship doing in England? I don't know. It's called the Halifax. So I don't know what it's doing in England. I think it's called the Halifax, they said on the radio. So what would it be doing? Oh, I can't do that, can I? Because then you lose the thing up there. But yeah, anyway, go and have a look at it later on. So what are people saying then in the channel? Oh yeah, my point being that I got up this morning, and normally I'd be like, oh, you know, because I hate getting up like early, and it just doesn't feel right. But because it was the boat, you know, and it was like, I'm going to be doing some crazy shit today, I'm just awake, you know, so I'm just totally like, boom, with it. And got down there, awake, went all round today, awake, drove home, pretty much awake, and I get home and I have 2 pints of beer, and then it catches up with me. It's like, you have had a long day today, matey, and now you're going to fall asleep any second now. But that'll send me to sleep. So yeah, so we've had a good old time, and we've managed to scout out some new places to do, right? And they are now within reach. Okay. Now some people have been saying to me, Matt, but what about blah blah blah? And I've been going, shh, don't say too much, yeah, because people have got the same ideas that I have. Okay, so there are people out there that know what we know, And, you know, I'm happy for you to email it to me, but zip, 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 because we don't want everybody doing it before us. And we don't want it to get, like, if there's any way that we can get into these places and they're not, you know, secured, after we put our videos up there, they'll be secured. Trust me, you know. So, which isn't the case with those 2 spit forts we went to today. They're just exactly as they were before, and that's really good because it means you can get out there and have a look, you know. But I may not be that like that forever. So, Ruby says, get a yacht. Well, yeah, there is that. I mean, they are very solid. I mean, you look at the yachts and they're just like, they go through some of the nasty waves and they're just like, ooh, slow and steady, straight through it, you know. Sorry for shouting, but my friend wants to see you in the cat suit in the bath. Cat suit? You mean the Zentai suit? Okay. Okay. Zentai suit, I don't know where it is actually. It's probably downstairs, but yeah, I suppose I'll wear it on the boat one day. I'll just wear the Zentai suit on the boat. Now that will freak people out, going up through the harbour like in like a Zentai suit. Yeah, they'll be a bit weirded out for that. So what do you need to take out a boatie out? A license and insurance? Actually, no. Believe it or not. Nope. If you've got a big boat, then you would have to have some training on it, but not for small vessels under a certain size. And I can't remember what that size is now, actually, off the top of my head. Land Rover, he says, out like a light tonight then. Well deserved. Resting coming. Yeah, well, I will be watching something that'll send me off to sleep in a minute. Been watching a good series called Upload. It's on Amazon Prime, and that's really funny. It's about what happens when you die. Yeah, when you die, they take your thoughts, they put them into machines, so you live on in the machine, and it's like a virtual world. It's called Upload, and it's good actually. I would recommend that. So I've been watching that to death. Hello, Rand. Oh yes, it takes a while, but it did come through. Land Rover donated £5 in super chat. No, you don't need a license for a small boat, for a small enough boat. You don't need any license whatsoever. Right, you can literally, as I have done, jump in it, start the engine, rum rum, off you go. Don't need a license, don't need a license. Yeah, and I do not need a license to leave the UK and go abroad. Yeah, so all I have to have is my passport. I don't have to tell the harbour master I'm leaving. I don't have to tell customs and excise I'm leaving. I don't have to tell anyone I'm going. I just go. But when you get to the other side, you are supposed to check in and tell them that you've arrived and that you're there and show them your passport and that sort of stuff. But that, again, is discretionary based upon whether you give a shit. Yeah? You're supposed to. But you could always turn around and say, well, I did come to your offices, but it was closed. Because that's 9 times out of 10 what a lot of customs offices are. So, yeah. Simon Lapwood says, that's worrying somehow. Well, the thing is, these boats are too small to be named. Okay? So, like they said, they asked me, I said, because I've got no boat name, right? I've got a radio license, and the radio license is real. It's got a number, but you'll never remember the number. But for most boats, your license is then linked to the name of your boat. So if you've got a license, I've got a license for my radio, but I don't have a boat name. So how does that work out? Now you don't need, for a 5-watt radio, it's free. No exams. Right, no exams. It's totally free. All you do is you just give your name to Ofcom, and they automatically issue the 5-watt license for a handy, yeah, for marine band, because they would rather you have it and use it than not. Okay, so that's the logic there. Okay, now that doesn't mean you're going to know exactly how to use it and what to say, but you'll pick it up fairly quickly. And if you go online and have a look, it'll teach you a little bit about the things of repeating things 3 times and all this sort of stuff. So, this is the way I do it. I mean, I've got no name for my vessel, so I can't give the name for the vessel. So who you calling? You call them 3 times, then you give your name, then you give the message. So you'd say like, Coast Guard, Coast Guard, Coast Guard. This is small inflatable vessel, yeah. And tonight I was using a small rib vessel, yeah. So because I've got no name, yeah. And he said to me, so what's your vessel's name? I said, well, it hasn't got a name. It's too small. It's a rib. But my name's Matthew Williams. I just went like that, just give him my name. Just put it in the log, Matthew Williams. Because technically what happened was a minor incident. We had an engine failure in a channel. We were drifting. We could have drifted into an area where they'd have had to have stopped the ship moving, And with those currents, you don't want to mess around, which is probably why they didn't want to mess around, because under normal circumstances, if the tide was coming in to out and it was halfway between, you could just poodle that ship along, But because the tide is doing 20 knots out or 20 miles an hour out, you want to. It's like shooting a bow. It's like, right, you go, whoosh, because you take the ship speed plus the speed of the water going out. And, and if the ship's doing 10 and that's doing 15, well, you're doing 30 miles an hour out, and it's like whoosh, it's really fast. The last thing you want to do is have to put a warship into reverse, full pelt in reverse, just to hold in one place, because there's something going wrong somewhere further down the line. It's just, that's why they'll clear everybody out of the way, because this thing's going to go boosh. And it wasn't ideal what happened to us, but, it's shit happens. Again, not a problem. So everybody would be like, oh my God, you must have got into all sorts of trouble. No, because I wasn't doing anything wrong. You don't need a license. Yeah. You do have to have a radio to go into certain places, right? We did meet the harbour master, and he said to me, he said, you're in the main shipping channel. I said, yes, but I'm between the reds and the greens, which is like you travel between the two. And he said, yes, but that's the reds and greens for the big ships. And he said, there's a small channel for the smalls. And I went, really? And he went, yeah. He said, don't you know about it? And I said, well, nope. He said, well, here, have this leaflet. And he's like, leaflet. It's like, tune into channel 11, keep within the small boat lane. Oh, okay, fine. So then he said, that's where all these boats are. And I said, oh, right. But the thing is, I was overtaking him anyway on the way in. And it's like, and he's like, yeah, but you got to stay in that bit, yeah? And I'm like, okay. So, I mean, I was wide of them because I was overtaking them all on the way in anyway, because they were all yachts and they were all going slow and I was going faster than them. At the legal limit, by the way. I was still doing the 10 knots, but they were all doing 5 knots. So I was going to overtake them, so I just came wide. And there's this boat who's coming towards me. That's what I forgot to tell you the story. This boat's coming towards me, so I turned to avoid, and then he turned towards me. So I turned the other way to avoid him. And he turned towards me again. I thought, oh, shit, what the hell? So he's like, hello? And I'm like, yeah, right. It would be helpful if you had a light on there or something. But it's like doing this business of, I'm just going to come towards you and intercept you that way, which is a bit bullshit. And he handed me the leaflet on a long bamboo stick in a little polystyrene plastic coffee cup on the end of a bamboo stick. He put his leaflet in that and he held it out over his ship to mine. And I was like, thank you very much. And he was like, and then carried on. It makes perfect sense that there is a small boat channel, but I had not studied it before going into that place, which is a bit naughty, because my training for flying would have told me that if you're going to land at an airport, you have to study what the circuit patterns are, what the rules are, where you're meant to fly, where you're not meant to fly, where the noise zones are. You study all that before you go. But trust me, wink, wink, it's not as official as flying. Boating is not as official as flying, trust me. Having our ISP check our internet. The big ships won't stop for you, Matt. You have to move out of their way. Oh, absolutely. I mean, because they can't, they can't move. Unless, of course, you are dead in the water, then they would attempt to stop for you. But, yeah, I mean, Yeah, they need an indicator, a light like a car. LOL. Yeah, maybe just like a, like a rotating beacon, so there's somebody important. Because I didn't know who they were. It's just a ship coming towards me. I turn, he turns. I turn the other way, he turns up. It's like, so who are you? It's like, and only once he turns sideways on, you can see it says, harbour. It wasn't like harbour master. It was like harbour. Something I think it was they're volunteers, these people, but they're there to just kind of ease the fact that there's so many people who are going to be coming in this place who don't know what they're doing, right? And it's basically like, hello, 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 before you go in there, just have a look at this leaflet. And you're like, oh, thank you very much. You see, because they get so much of crap, like people with me. I mean, this is just telling you, this is how it works, right? So many people have got boats, and so many people don't know what they're doing, right? That it's bound to go wrong like that, yeah? So therefore, these people hang around at the mouth of the going in to the harbour, and they hang around and they just look for anyone who looks like he might be slightly off track, and they're like, hey, quick, get him, get him. Yeah, have a leaflet, sir. There you go. Right, it's just to tell you, like, this is how we do it in this harbour. So, but still, I didn't get in any trouble for anything I did, so you can be absolutely stupid and they'll just tell you how to do it. So, Harbour Patrol, I think it said. You could be right, actually. Harbour Patrol. Yeah, they were very nice. 2 old blokes. And there was a third boat, which is a very small boat. They were in like a little mini catamaran thing, yeah, with an engine on it. And there was a very small boat. And after I'd finished there, I was saying to him, I said, I'm on YouTube now, I'm on YouTube. And he goes, well, I'd rather you don't film and drive with your boat. And I'm thinking, yeah, but it's not like a car, is it? You know what I mean? So there's no laws against it, and it's like, I'd rather you don't. And it's like, well, if I need to put my phone down, I just put it down and I can operate the, throttle, whatever. Yeah. So, may have been slightly overloaded on a 22-mile journey from Dover Harbour, yeah. So, yeah, so what was the point? Oh, this guy said to me, he said, oh, you're live on thing. What's your channel? I said, oh, Secret Vault. He was like, okay, Secret Fault. And I said, no, that's what they all like to call me, Secret Fault. But no, it was Secret, and I went, Vault. And he was like, okay. I was like, Jesus. Scepter says he's just bought a lovely 4 Chanel. Excellent range. Great in the bath. Excellent. Matt, top it up. I'm not going to have any more now, to be honest, because it's just going to be wasted on me. I'm going to kill the stream in a minute. I think we kind of covered most subjects here. Yeah, I think I probably covered it. But I mean, the boat was absolutely amazing. The boat was stunning, and all I really need to do is maybe change the cigarette lighter socket so I can do a bit of charging the phone whilst I'm on it, and put a little holder so it can hold on to things whilst I'm going. That would be nice. And yeah, I think job's a good one. That'll be a good thing. Have I been to the sub in Kent? What about Dead Man's Island? Oh, no, Dead Man's Island. Well, you're not supposed to go there, per se, because of all the skulls and bones and things like that. But, yeah, I wouldn't mind going there. I wouldn't mind. And I haven't been to the sub, and I would like to. Yes, I would love to. You'll have to smuggle some booze and tobacco from France. Well, I don't know. You don't need to smuggle it, really, do you? Although now we've left the EU, technically there should be customs duties there. But yeah, well, just know what you're allowed. Used to be an amazing amount anyway. You could just have an amazing amount of stuff if you wanted to. Just you had to know what to say. So there we go. So Scrinson says, good night, Matt. Really enjoyed this evening. I think we kept it quite clean, this one. So there's no swearing. There's no naughties. So I might leave this one up. I might leave this up because it might be safe for children. And safe for... Oh, Simon Lapworth. Swig, get in. Swig, get in. Swig, get in. All right, then. I'm so sorry. Monetization gone now. Dear, dear. What have you reduced me to? Oh. Do you know what I love? Right, I like a lot of things, but you know what I really love? I like earbuds. I love sitting and twiddling earbuds in my ear. Oh, it's really good. Oh, I love it. Does anybody else love doing this? I think it's just like really good, as long as you don't like go in too far. Oh, and of course you're not supposed to do this. They say, do not put these in your ear. It's like, well, what do people buy them for then? Of course they're going to stick them in their ear. That's what they buy them for. It's like, don't do it. Don't put them in your ear. It's like, well, anyway, don't do it though, folks, because I don't want the blame for it. Oh, that tiredness is kicking in now. Right, that's really bad for you, that. It's all right, as long as you do it in the outer bit, don't go in. I mean, you will burst your eardrum. You know, you've got to know limits. You've got to know what you can do. That's called an ear wank. Yeah, it was a bit, actually, yeah. Dental toothpick thing. Got to be careful with those, though. Oh, cleans the wax out, yes. And I had run out of them, and I was in the Isle of Wight, and I hadn't done it for days because I was in the Isle of Wight. And when I came back and put my bud in the ear and pulled it out, it was like, Normally, it's only a little bit because I'm always doing it, yeah. And people have said to me, like, you know, I might look like an ugly mug, but they've gone, oh, but you have such clean inside your ears. And I'm like, And they were right. I do. You can have a look sometime. If you ever meet me, I'll let you look inside my ears and you'll see whether or not it's nice and clean in there. So, you spoilt it, Matt, with loads of kids will follow you with the earbuds. I'm telling you, if you stick those things in your ears, there's a very good chance that you are going to burst your eardrums because you don't know what you're doing, right? And you're going to stick them in too far and you're going to get infections and it's going to be really bad. So do what it says on the instructions. Don't stick them in your ears. Don't stick them up your nose. Yeah, they're not designed for that. But some of us that know what we're doing, and that does not include you, even though you've seen me doing it, doesn't mean you can do it. Yeah, so don't do it. Anyway, there we are. Right. Oh, Land Rover says he's been ear vanking for years. Yes. So, right, well, I think that's about it then. Time for me to get into bed, and Doggy's been really quiet. She's been like a bit sort of hormonal, looking after her baby. Yeah, which is a squeaky toy. But I can't mention baby because if I say that or if I make the noise, yeah, she'll go bonkers. But anyway, she's down there, and that's good for me because I don't want to set her off. But what a day! What a day! This is a completely different type of experience. What I had today is completely different. I know you're thinking like, oh, boats are boats, and you know the old boat was a big boat, and da. Now this opens new horizons because of ease of getting it in the water, speed. Yeah. So once it's made 100% reliable, yeah, so we can get around all of those little things. So I've got backup battery, lots of fuel. I need to drill a hole in the air intake and put a bung in it so I can easily spray some easy fuel starting if it need to. Maybe modify the top so I can easily get in there to put a cord on to pull cord it if I need to. I need to get myself a little toolkit for that boat, so it's always on board, so I can always have the ability to do the things I need to do on the engine if necessary. And pretty much I think we're ready to go. We're ready to have some mad shitty shizer experiences on the boat. We're gonna have some mad ones. I sense it. I really sense it. And do you know what? It might mean I don't need the small one anymore. Debatable. Do I need the small one? Yeah. And I definitely don't need the big one. You know, unless we're doing like a party. You know. But I don't need it. That boat now, I think it meets the requirements I need. It's big enough. I don't want to take the whole world out. Yeah, that's not my responsibility. I want to take a few people with me to do an explore. You know, they all need to get boats as well. And then we'll have 2 boats. We'll have a safety boat. If one breaks down, the other one can tow the first one. That's the ultimate, that's the solution. You know, I think that's a good solution. And if it's a really long journey, I shall take a second engine with me, which I can just plug into that fuel tank and boomf, and we've got a second engine so we can keep moving. So yeah. So for really long journeys, but is it 100 miles? Is it 100 miles to the Isle of Man? Shit. Got to be done though. I reckon. Got to be done. Definitely got to be done. 100 miles, eh? So what would we be talking then? 30? So it'd be 60 quid's worth of fuel, 3 tanks worth of fuel like I use today, and you have to be on a very calm sea, otherwise you're going to be boing, boing, boing. So, you know, if you pick your day right, if you pick your days right, you might be able to do it. And then coming back, maybe put up with a bit of shitty weather on the way back. Take you longer to get home and a lot of fuel. Anyway, there we go. Trolling motor. Yeah, I've got a electric trolling motor. They're shit. So, yeah, sell the boat to EWF. Well, Dan, he already wants to go on better than me. He wants to go for a speedboat with an enclosed cabin, so he can keep out of the rain. So he wants to be like... But I did say to him, I said, well, speedboats are all very good, but if you get a leak in it, it's going down. Okay, so I did explain to him. I said, yeah, they're all really good. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But if mine gets a leak in the bottom of the fiberglass, I'm staying up because it's a rib, so it will float on the pontoons on the tubes. That's what they're designed for. Yeah, they're almost impossible to sink. Yeah, but a speedboat, really easy to sink. Yeah, you can just be poodling along, bang, 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 and you could just have a hairline fracture appear in the fiberglass. It'll start filling up with water. You're going down. You know, if you can't get that water out of there quick enough, if you haven't got a pump, which most don't, why would they? You know, if you ain't got a pump and you're not close to land, then it's going to slowly fill up and you are going to go down. End of. So ribs are definitely the safest option. So I would have said, well, Dan, I do agree. Yeah, speedboat, yes, but not classic speedboat. You need a rib speedboat with a covered area or possible cabin. So a rib cabin speedboat. But they ain't cheap. You can pick up a speedboat for nothing. You can pick up cabin cruisers and bloody yachts for nothing. And there's a reason for that. Because when they go wrong, they absolutely sink, and they're bloody hard to find people to do the work on them. So it's really easy to work on ribs and sibs because they're made out of Hypalon or PVC, and you can get a patch of it and you glue and you stitch it on and it's done. Yeah, you don't have to get like a woodworker and a fiberglass worker who knows what they're doing to fix it. So anyway, There we go, folks. Bilge pump, even for the rib if it takes on some wet stuff. Well, this one I've got here, it's got drains in the back. So when you're going along, you just open the drains, just flows out of the way. Like the other one I had, actually, was very good. You know, it would fill up with water, and that water would slosh around in the underneath. But when you get going, and it's sort of like the front comes up a little bit, and it all sloshes to the back, and you get this large pocket of water. Just open the vents, just pull up the vents, all the water just goes out, lows the vents down, you know, it's gone. And we did that many times today. I explained to the guys, I said, look, you know, we're getting splash, we're getting a few little splashes, and they go to the back of the boat, because we're a little bit nose high. And I just said, yes, pull the vent out, just pull the vent, and it was just like, whew, gone. Put it back in, takes 2 seconds, whoosh, all the water's just gone. Don't need a pump, and because you can't really sink a rib, provided you can get it turned up the right way. Not really an awful lot of need for an electric pump. So yeah, so there we are. Okay then, guys, I'm going to make a move because it's 12:15. So thank you very much for everybody in the chat, and we shall catch you soon. And thanks for everybody who's donated, and grab another beer and stay on for a bit. Mindset Central. Oh, hello. It's Mr. Gareth. Well, Mr. Gareth, why not? I tell you what, if you come in and talk, I'll go and get another beer. Right? If you want to come in and talk, I will send you the code, look, Mr. Gareth. If you want to come in, I'll talk. But I am starting to not do it, but I warn you. So, okay, right, I shall put the code in the thing. Gareth of Mindset Central. You can tell people how I come on and act like a loony on your show and swear a lot, which is something I don't do on my own channel because I have more respect for my channel. I still got my flying license. I have somewhere. I couldn't find it the other day when I went looking for it, but I've got 3 or 4 bags full of maps and bits and pieces, and it is there somewhere. Yeah, I have got it, but it's not current. It is valid because it's valid for life, but you have to keep it current by flying a certain amount of hours per year. If you lapse on that, then you have to go and fly again with somebody, you know, like an instructor, and they have to say that your standard is good enough, and then they sign you off, and then you're valid again, provided you do a certain amount of hours per year. It's valid for you to carry on doing it. So I've let it lapse, but to be honest, it's a piece of piss. Once you've learned how to fly, it's a piece of piss. The only thing you have to really be aware of is you can't jump from aircraft to aircraft. If you don't know that aircraft, you can't jump from aircraft to aircraft to aircraft because they're all different and they all have quirks. So you have to learn those quirks and get used to them with an instructor. And when they say you're good, then you can add that to the list of aircraft you can fly and you're good to go. But yeah. Would I get my license revalidated and go flying again? Possibly, one day. And I wouldn't mind getting a small aircraft again. But I don't know whether it's going to be a big one this time. It's going to be something that's fold away, stick it somewhere quiet. It's not going to cost me much money to rent, you know what I mean? Fold away wings and, you know, something light and, you know, just for messing around in, basically, you know, because to be honest, I've got a drone, and a drone does much better than I could do in the aircraft, which is what I actually learned how to fly, was for the fun, but also to take photos and video. Photos, yes. Video, a bit shaky when you're in an aircraft. So drones, much better. So is he coming in then? Is he coming in, Gareth? Gareth, you got to come in, man. You got to come in and I'll get a beer. If you don't come in, I'm not getting a beer and I'm going to go to bed. Oh, Exploring with Carl is back. They're bastards, you know. They won't let me rest. You're not going to let me rest here.
Hello, Matthew Williams.
Hello, Carl. Carl Henderson Henshaw.
Henshaw, yeah. Just want to say, wow. People in there, people you know. The Mindset. Do they know?
What?
Have they watched that? Do you know The Mindset?
The Mindset, yeah. Do you watch that then?
Oh God, me and my brother did it in Scotland. When we was in Scotland, we was watching it. Yeah, it's brilliant. People don't know. A lot of people probably don't know.
Yeah.
Watch them, listen to that. It's brilliant.
I get
It's
my
absolutely
my
brilliant.
man moves out and shake him about. I do all sorts of crazy things on that show. You know.
It's absolutely brilliant. That's all I can say. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
I say things on that show that I would be afraid. Here he comes. Here he is.
There he is.
He's
Hello?
doing his hair.
Hello?
Look. He's doing his hair. There he is. Look.
Hello?
I was going to say we have to line ourselves up manually otherwise, but now we don't have to.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, look, he's got eyes wide shut mask up there, so we know we can't trust him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Identifies yourself.
that's
Identify myself. Yeah.
That's my Bill Shatner.
What's the password?
Yeah.
So,
Yes, Fidelio.
Fidelio,
Mm.
Yes.
remove your mask.
Yes.
please.
I bet it is just like that as well. You know, it is.
Remove your mask.
Yeah.
I love the mindset. I love the mindset. Can I just say that before I go off home? Because I need to go to bed soon. I just want to say, I just want to go to Matthew's channel.
You have a
Sorry. Carry on.
fan.
No, I'm just saying, yeah.
It's like a
Well, no matter anyway.
fan.
You know, some extra. I'm just saying about the mindset. The mindset is
Look at my
so
pants.
brilliant.
Look at my pants.
I appreciate it.
Look at that. It's a pair of pants for you. It's a pair of underpants for you. If I've ever seen it. Look, self-stitched as well.
Wonderful.
Stitched to stop my privates coming out on camera and embarrassing myself.
Wonderful.
Can I just say
Yeah.
what I like and then just switch off and go home to bed?
It's getting late over there, huh?
It is, yeah. It is late, yeah. How you doing? How you doing over there? All right.
I'm doing good, hanging in there, waiting for things to cool down.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. I just go on to say, yeah, I love the mindset. You know
Thanks,
what?
man.
Hugh Williams and everyone. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah,
It's gone.
appreciate it. Thank you. Here he comes. What's he got? Stella? No? That's not what he's got there.
I don't know. It gets you drunk. That's all that matters.
Can I Stella?
Lit.
Lovely.
Can of Galleru.
Gallery,
It's
yeah.
fake Stella.
So you went on some crazy explore today. I've been watching you talk about it.
Well, the crazy explore was the taking the boat out itself and having fun. And I got a lot of pleasure from seeing the lads go out and do what they needed to do. And for me, it was just learning the boat. You know, it was an opportunity to get used to the boat and learn it. And I learned a lot from that experience. So, you know, won't be making the same mistakes a second time. See you, Carl. He's gone.
He's gone.
Jesus.
So you need to name
What
your
what a terrible man.
you need to name your boat the Orca.
Yeah, but you know what I do call it though, yeah?
What?
It's called the HMS Manpon.
What?
The Manpon.
HMS Manpon. What's the reference? What made you come up with that one?
Think laterally. Now,
Manpon. I don't know. Did you like
what sounds like Manpon? Manpon.
Tam Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay.
People now can talk about these things because there's adverts on television that are allowed in the United Kingdom that mention the word I can't say it. Sorry, but I can say manpon, but I can't say. I don't know. I just can't bring it out. See, it's all these years of conditioning of, you know.
So I hear everyone over there is on lockdown now. Is that true?
Apparently, yes. So I hear. And I'm hearing people are getting fined for just driving around, and it's like, what?
Insane.
Like some bloke got fined because he went to Wales and it was like 300 miles. It's like, so what? So what?
They're finding people for going outside.
Well, I thought we got past all this because they,
Yeah.
last time they said stay in your house. And then the figures went down, but there was no masks. Now they go, oh, but we need masks. And it's like, well, but you don't have to stay in your house. I thought that was the idea. It's like you don't have to stay in your house, but you wear a mask.
This is what I wear when I go out. This is my mask.
Mm.
They don't tell you what kind of mask. They just say wear a mask.
Yep.
What's
my mask is like? My mask is like this.
Okay.
See, I'm not gonna. What? You can't see anything anyway, but there we are.
Good.
Right, that's my mask. Right, is like a pair of underpants that's so big, you can pull them up over your head. Right.
Yeah.
That is my mask, but I gotta say, right, and I defend this to the death. That is so unfashionable, it's unreal. But I'm not complaining about the cold. Everyone else gets cold. I don't get cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you get to a certain age.
Well, my circulation stops working, and I have to have. I've been wearing these things for like 25 years. They're brilliant. In the winter, it's just like I use them instead of underpants. It's just like I change them like as if they're my underpants. Chuck them in. I got like 8, 9 pairs in there. But I did sew up the fronts because I would get so used to wearing them. They're almost like wearing pajamas, but they're not pajamas because pajamas would kind of sort of hide things, but these kind of like things flop out really easily. So a few people said to me, I saw you the other night and your bits were hanging out. And I was like, really? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, I had no idea. But then
tell me what happened with your. I haven't spoken to you since you fucked up your leg. How's that coming along? Is it all fixed now?
It's not too bad actually. I mean, I gave it. I inadvertently wet it. It's meant to be tomorrow. It's coming off. So. There's new dressing on it. That's just iodine. So it's a completely nice, clean new dressing. There's taking the stitches out. And, it feels about that time, which is about right, probably, to take the stitches out, because it's not quite...
Do you limp, or are you okay?
A little bit, yeah. If I put pressure down, it hasn't quite got to the point where I can just do any manoeuvres and without pain. But as long as I'm just walking, it's okay.
How did you cut? You climbed through a window or something, right?
Yeah, climbed through a window and there were little jagged bits of glass on it, and I was expecting to just get over and down, and my foot slipped and it just went chung.
Ouch.
Hmm.
Yeah, that must have hurt like hell.
Didn't hurt at all initially. Did afterwards, yeah. Yeah, it was really painful. Like I could hardly move. Like the next day, it was like But then I just took a lot of like Nurofen, and then just kept on walking on it the next day, and it was just like I just broke through a pain barrier, and it was just like, oh, it's actually quite loose now, and it stayed like that. But then it like bruised a bit, so I don't know. It's weird.
They say that with boxers and stuff, though, right? When they're in the fight, and even right after the fight, they're in no pain whatsoever. And then the next day, they're in fucking agony. You really feel it the next day. It's like your body is kind of keeps the pain out.
I was looking and I thought something was like going on, but it was the mask, and something just went woo 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 woo, and it moved. Yeah, it moved.
Yeah, it's alive. Alive.
Yeah. So, how are you keeping, sir? What's going on with you?
I'm doing good. I did a couple of podcasts today. Haven't been going out much because everything's pretty much closed. I really wanted to go see Tenet, the new Christopher Nolan movie, but everything's shut. I went online to see it. Where's this playing? It's like nowhere, nowhere. So I went and I torrented it, but the quality was so bad. I watched like a minute of it and just bailed. Just hit stop. Fuck it. So now I just got to wait till it either comes out for real or they all start opening up cinemas, because right now it's pretty grim.
I got to be honest, I I did watch a downloaded copy of it, and I got halfway through, and I was just like, "This is a mess. This is a mess."
Yeah, the same here. The quality of the download was so bad. I literally watched like a minute and
It's not the quality. I mean, I could see past that. It was just like, this is not what I expect from, not what I expected. It was quite contrived and a bit lame. So.
Well, I'm eager to see it, but yeah, I've heard a lot of very mixed reviews. Some people say it's not very good, but I want to.
Well, Christopher Nolan's got this over fascination, like an OCD thing with time. I think he started off like his early, sort of college movies were about time, and then Memento was time, and then Inception a little bit, but it's kind of like jumping in and out of realities is one thing, but jumping forwards and backwards in time can be a bit like, oh, come on, like it's like, you're taking me back 5 minutes, and it's like, yeah, come on then, and it's like forward 10 minutes, and then back 10 minutes. Oh, for fuck. So it's just like, get on with it, I know where we're going, I know where we're at. Stop bouncing me back all the time. Just move me forwards, and it's just like Dunkirk. I was like, it's okay.
I enjoyed Dunkirk.
Yeah, it's okay, but this time going back forwards in time, it's like, I know where you're going with this. I know what's going to happen to this character. I know what. Do you have to keep painfully going back and then carrying on that character's story, and back again and carrying on his story again, back again and carrying it? I know what's going to happen to this character. I know it. I can see it a million miles away. Just stop making me go back all the time,
Back
and to the left. Exactly. Great.
Back
and to the left.
To the left.
Mm.
Well, that's a great movie.
So it was okay. Again, I wasn't sure why he needed to shoot it in IMAX, really. But
he likes IMAX. He's been doing IMAX for a lot, with huge, massive, ginormous screens. I don't like going to see movies in IMAX though. It's not my. I just like to see normal screen size.
Yeah.
It's too big. I don't want to watch. When you're watching the action, you go like this.
Yeah.
I don't want to be moving my head to watch a fucking film. Right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, a lot of like cinemas, they've kind of, even though they're widescreen, when you sit back a load of rows, I mean, you are just watching like that. So it is just literally like your eyes are just doing that. They're not sort of, oh. And the over-the-top dome experience with IMAX was quite good. But I mean, everything gets out of focus once you come out of, like, there's perfect spheres of focus, yeah? Once you get out of that into the peripheral, everything's out of focus anyway. Yeah. So unless you move your eyes up to it, you're not going to really make much out in all this wonderful quality that's around you.
My son has one of those VR things, and he just sits there, and I'm like, what the hell? He says, I'm watching a movie. He has like a cinema thing with seats and stuff, and he's there, and he just sits there. It's like he's at the movie theater watching a movie with this thing on his.
And they put the seats in there so you're further away from the screen.
Well, it's like a virtual cinema. So you're sitting there, and if you look to your left, there's an empty seat, or this, whatever, and you look ahead, there's the movie screen.
I didn't know they'd actually do the. Yeah. You're sitting in a. I thought they just put the movie in front of you.
Give him a bowl of popcorn, and and kick the back of his seat, and it's like he's there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it comes to something, doesn't it? When you're watching a higher quality pirated movie than you would have seen in the cinema at 4K, when it would have been 2K in an IMAX cinema, because they only have 2K IMAX projectors, so it's like 4K pirated in high quality,
right?
And it's a cinema as well. So it's like, not only am I getting the pirate movie experience, now I'm getting the pirate. I'm in a pirate cinema as well now.
Well, I don't know if they do this, but it would be interesting if they had like a virtual cinema, and your friends could join the same and sit next to each other virtually, like their avatar or whatever.
Throw popcorn at you.
You watch the film together. Right?
Yeah. Throw popcorn and fart. Yeah. Laser pointers on the screen. But only during the adverts, not during the movie.
Yeah, or you could have like a virtual mobile phone that you could text on while the movie's going on, and
Yeah.
Or you could, or if music plays, you could sing along. That annoyed the shit out of me. I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy when that came out.
Mm-hmm.
But it had been playing for a while. There's only like one movie theater where it was open, and it was not in a good part of town. But I went, and
Not in a good part of Hollywood.
There's a lot of old Motown music in that film, and I'm sitting there watching the film, and I'm enjoying it. And there's a guy behind me. Whenever a song was in the movie, he would sing along to the song that was playing in the film. But he wouldn't just be singing along, he'd be singing full on singing, like if he had a microphone.
Right.
Very disturbing. It was fucked up. It was not cool. Yeah, so,
You should have asked him if you could take part in his channel, and asked him, was it Spurg Set Central?
Spurg.
Spurg.
You lost me.
Come on, you must have heard the term Spurg.
No.
Arsberg.
Oh, Asperger's.
Asperger.
Yeah. Can you get an Asperger with fries, please?
Like Greta on Keta.
Yes.
Greta Arsberger.
How dare you?
Yes.
Yeah, Greta.
Yeah. You've ruined my idea of how I think the world should be.
Yes.
Whoa.
How dare you?
Land Rover has just been sending me like blur money, crazy money. £19.84, which is probably his birth date, is it? He hasn't said, but I can imagine there's a significance there.
1954.
84.
84. 1984.
Oh, well, of course. It's the movie 1984, George Orwell. Yeah.
Some Orwellian reference to the thought police.
The thought police, indeed.
And that's the Orwellian nightmare that's gradually unfolding around our ears as we speak.
Indeed.
So when you go out on the boat, do you have to wear a mask?
No, because there's nobody else out there, apart from whoever you're on the boat with.
Yeah.
And the sea air will probably take care of all the germs anyway.
Yeah, all the salt.
Salty.
Do you play the Captain Pugwash theme when you get on the boat?
I play the I don't know, is there a song that could be like please start, please start me,
Start Me Up, Rolling Stones.
yeah, start me up.
That was the Windows 95 ad.
Oh right, yeah. Oh, Doodle sent £5, but it hasn't gone bling yet. It will do. There he goes.
There it goes.
But he has not put any message. So
how can I be helping you?
Thank you for your £5, but good night. Thank you for your £5. Good night. Yep.
Good night.
Oh, was it? I hope your babies do not walk backwards.
Walking backwards for Christmas. Hey, what are you doing for Halloween? Are you gonna do a haunted explore somewhere or something?
Yeah, when is Halloween? Because I've Dan Dixon's been preparing for 2 weeks. I've been seeing him doing videos for Halloween stuff.
They've banned trick or treating over here, so no kids are allowed to go trick or treating.
Well, maybe they have to get a virtual Oculus trick or treating app.
Disgraceful.
Yeah, they can all like trick or treat with each other, and then chop each other up in VR. Like as if it's a real thing.
Kill them all. Yeah, you should do something spooky on Halloween, dude. Don't get out there
Actually, it makes you think, though, doesn't it? It's like the cinema is going to be like in VR, and then like the kids can't get out and have their fun and trick or treat anymore because like the perverts are going to kill them and take them in the basement, and and then the COVID-19, yeah. COVID-19, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? We're going to be like, is every experience going to be rendered down to just a shitty VR thing?
Well, for my Halloween, what I'm planning to do is recently I discovered an LA UFO group that's going to be doing a skywatch.
Oh.
So I think I might go along and check out that to see if it's cool or a complete waste of fucking time. I don't know.
Mm.
We'll see. I figure it'll be one or the other. There's not going to be any middle ground. It's either going to be great fun or I'm going to be like, what the hell am I doing here? You know? So I think I'll do that on Halloween.
I suppose we always used to joke about these UFO groups that had like acronyms. When you read them back, made them sound like buffoons. You know, like I was part of Bufora, but it was like the Bufora. It's like buffoons or something like. But I was thinking just like LA UFO. Immediately when you said it, Lafio,
Yeah,
Lafo.
we say that.
So
repeatedly.
laughs on you, mate, because you're going to be up there with them.
Yeah.
Lafos.
Apple.
Lafo.
Yep.
You haben nicht schniefen kosten, you haben nicht. Ja.
Yep. Yep.
So sieht es ab. It's like cigarettes, they come back to your mouth really quickly. It's like, yeah.
That was very good.
And it's like they combing hair. It's like it sort of
Yes.
instead of like
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like-
Yeah. Well, they did that when they filmed those scenes in Twin Peaks with the little midget guy inside in the room, and he'd be all like, "Yep, yep," and all this. They would do it. I guess they would train him to do it backwards because he would be going backwards while other people would be going forwards.
Yeah. They did practice the words backwards and all the
Yeah,
things backwards. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It's been done a lot in as like a movie technique. There's what was it now? There's a whole movie that was shot backwards. An entire movie where everyone acts and moves backwards.
Backwards.
Yeah.
But then you play it forwards, and everyone looks very jerky and weird, and it gives you like a really weird vibe, I guess, watching it.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. I don't know if I could sit through an entire movie like that, though, but it'd be an interesting concept to play around with.
Well, there's a couple of movies as well which have been like supposedly shot in one take. So they have all the actors in different locations, and it's like one camera move through the whole thing. And if they fuck up, they stop and they reset everything. They go back.
Yeah,
Everything is like one move, and it's like a theatrical play because it has to be on time. Everybody has to do their thing on time. But the camera moves through it all. It's all lit, and everything happens like special effects, and it's all one move. There's a Russian movie, you know.
That's what. That's how Ben does all his videos in one take.
Oh yeah, man, he was well ahead of the curve there.
Well ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
One take.
And he said, you know what? All these fancy gimbals and shit. I think people want to see it more real. They need more grit.
Absolutely.
So he just dispensed with all his expensive, gimbals and steady cams and glide cams and vests and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
I remember seeing a video of you. This must have been years ago, where you did a video trying to instruct Ben on how to to get you're holding your camera. So look, you just get the camera. It's easy. You need to do this to make. Did he ever see that or respond to it or?
He did buy a different camera, but it was like moving from a like motorbike to a motorbike. It was kind of
Same thing.
Yeah, same sort of shit. Yeah. I think I've seen people doing like phone stuff, and I mean, the trouble with phones is they've got really good cameras on them.
Yeah,
they're just so light. They're just so light that they just move around too much. You can make a phone like a broadcast camera just by putting it on something with a load of weight and putting it on your shoulder with tons of weight, so it just can't move. It's just too hard to move it.
Those what they call, forgive gimbal. If you got a gimbal for your phone, that does it too.
You can have a gimbal, that works too. But if you,
Yeah.
I said, like I said to you, if you're that skint, just connect your phone with where are they? Well, so I've got one you. Oh yeah, one of these. These are like £1.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, just go to like pound stores and just
That's
buy
so
one of these
easy.
things, and just look. It's got a tripod mount.
Yeah.
You know, and you just screw a tripod on there and just like
And
use the weight of the tripod to just like act like a weight, and it just slows things down. It stops this twitch, which is like, you know, just stops that, and then it gives you this kind of glidey quality, you know, where everything slows down, and it gives people time to look at the image instead of looking at this blur all the time, you know. And
yeah, for sure. Like you have a pretty professional setup. I mean, you got like the Sony camera with the lens and the gimbal and the whole deal.
yeah, I'm still not happy with my new gimbal. It works. It hasn't died on me, but it's severe. It's douche. You know, it's and it doesn't respond to me telling it to slow down in the app, which is a shame. But apart from that, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
But the thing with a gimbal is, right, I like the gimbal to force me to be slow, right? I mean, some people are like, no, I want it to be responsive, like I'm walking along, and when I turn, I want it to turn. But the thing is, then it's just like, it's too fast. The turns are too fast. I want it so if I turn, the camera just keeps going slowly, so it forces me to go, oh, hang on, I'll slow myself down, because I can see the camera's catching up. I want it to be too slow, you know, and then it forces me to slow down, because when the camera turns at this speed, I just get used to that speed, and then I go home and I watch it, and I'm going, oh, because it's like little sort of like whoops, and it's like, nah, I don't want that.
And the night vision you have on that camera
is good. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Like when I see you out and about and you're filming, and for you it's the middle of the night, it's pitch darkness.
I can't really see what's going on in front of me, but like I'm looking in the screen and I'm like, there it is, colour. Yeah.
And it looks incredible. It's like daylight, you know. It looks really, really good low light on that camera. Really, really amazing.
And it's got. I'm using an f2.8 lens as well, which is like, that's not even a low light lens. When you think about it.
No, it looks great.
You know, if I had a 1.2, can you imagine how much more light I'd be getting in with a 1.2 than a 2.8?
You do a GoFundMe or some shit to get the a good lens for that.
Well, they cost thousands.
How's that little what the fuck is it called?
DJI Pocket.
Yeah, the DJI. How's that thing?
Really good. I use it all the time, and I love it because it's so light.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a little bit. The control on it is so sensitive, up down. It's useful, but it doesn't slow down. It's like stop. You know, so it's okay, but I want things to do like the drone, because DJI know how to do this shit. Yeah, they know how to do this shit, because if I operate the control and let go, it keeps moving. It's like slows down to a nice stop. So they know how to do this shit, yeah, but they don't give you that feature. It's not available. It just doesn't exist.
You could tell it in your videos what you're when you use the Sony compared to the little DJI. I mean, don't get me wrong, the DJI looks great. It's 4K, it looks awesome. But the Sony is night and day. It looks like butter. It's so clean and crisp. It looks great. But I understand the attraction of wanting to use it, because it's so, you know, you just put it in your fucking pocket. It's so easy to carry around instead of a backpack and all kinds of.
Sometimes if you put it in your mouth, because you need to climb and you need to run and gun, you know, and the big one is quite hard to do that with. You know, I have to one-hand it up ladders and stuff like that. You know. But the quality is really good. It's quite sharp, and you don't have to post-process it. It's just like just stick it straight out like it is. Whereas the Pocket's good, but sometimes I'm going, do you know what? I don't think people are going to appreciate this unless I do a noise clean pass, which is like an overnight 9 hours of rendering and cleaning, you know. And then it looks almost as good as the Sony, but it's like that's the difference. You know, it's like the Sony looks like that, bang, straight out of the can, and the other one can kind of be bumped up a little bit, but it still won't see in the dark. But yeah,
No, I was thinking about buying a gimbal a while ago, but I never. I was on Amazon. You know, like you go and you're looking, and I never pulled the trigger. I never hit the button to finally to buy the thing, because my camera is just a little like a little point and shoot.
yeah.
This the Canon thing I got here, and it's good enough, I guess. It's okay. It's nowhere as good as yours. This is the G7X, this Canon G7X, and it takes beautiful pictures. The video you can do 1080p at 60 frames a second.
But no 4K, is it?
No, this is an older. The newer version of this does 4K, but this is just 1080p 60 frames. But in the daylight, you know, like on a sunny day when you're out filming, the video quality of just something as piddly as this at 1080p looks amazing, you know, incredible. But it's not even in the same league as what you have.
Well, there's some weird little things with the camera. It seems to be a problem that you get on the Sony A7S. If when you're working in this like super low light mode, and a lot of people don't use that super low light mode, they just use like turn it on. Oh look, it can see in the dark a bit, and they just use the basic color setup. There is a special color setup, and they do tell you how to do it, but a lot of people it's like whoosh, they don't know about it. If you turn it into that S-Log color setup and you pull the gamma up, you can see much better in the dark, but you see the illumination of the sensor because it's got what's known as a back illuminated sensor, and you actually see the illumination of the sensor down the edge. It's like a pink burp down the edge, and you wouldn't get that normally. That's kind of like, you know, when it's darkened down a bit, you don't see that as an artifact. So that's there. But to be honest, it's a brilliant camera, and I'm like, I could go for the A7S III, which we've been all waiting for ages because it's got 10-bit color, and it's going to be a cleaner image in the dark.
Is it out already, or is it?
It is, but everybody's on back order because people are just wanting it like crazy.
Well, what does that go for? It's like
3,800. So they bumped it up $1,000 for the new camera.
Yeah.
So.
But you still be able to use all of your lenses and all your accessories. So you basically buy the body and you're good to go.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But the thing I think about it is, do you know what? The type of stuff I do, people expect to see a little bit of grain, and I'm doing night work. You know, it's like.
I just want to see. I don't want to see grain. I want to see high quality, clean images. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, but what I'm kind of getting at is I think the new camera is going to have just as much grain in the dark, but what it might have is a slightly higher bit for sort of like the color. So it's going to render slightly smoother colors. You're not going to get any banding and things like this. But I think effectively it's going to be pretty much the same camera. It's the same lens, same camera, same system. It's got 10-bit color now. And I'm like...
So it's not really wait for the next one.
If I was a daytime shooter, if everything I was doing was all about day, you know, then that would be a great camera, because I would probably, in a broadcast environment, I wouldn't want any clouds to have gradation on them, you know, and I wouldn't want to have to noise clean to clean that gradation. Well, you know, 10-bit color is, you know, I mean, you being in Hollywood, you should know that what's the Academy standard now? 10-bit or 8-bit, 10-bit? It's 12-bit. 12-bit, yeah. So all these cameras for many years, 10-bit is professional, yeah? 12-bit is Academy. That's what the Academy have set down.
Everything's pushing forward. Like the standard in video right now is 4K, 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
You know, and they just keep bumping that up. There's 8K cameras that are coming out. You know, I know some phones do 8K, but not that very successfully. But pretty soon you're going to be buying, DSLRs with be able to record in 8K. You're going to be able to get a point and shoot like this that'll do 8K. That's where everything's going.
And a lot of people who say, you know, you buy the cameras like the one I've got, you shoot in 4K, but you edit it down to a master that's 2K,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
a good quality master in 2K.
Right.
So you get an 8K camera, but you're going to master it for 4K.
Right.
It's not going to be for 8K on an 8K screen, because they don't have 8K screens, and they aren't going to for a long time.
Well, they do exist, but they're insanely expensive. But yeah, eventually, you know, I mean, when 4K came out, and they were like 30 grand each for a 4K panel, and now it's standard. Everyone has 4K.
Yep.
You know, so it'll be the same with 8K. They'll be very rare and crazy expensive, and then 5 years later, it'll be, you know, $400 for a TV. It'll be everywhere.
Well, I think part of the reason that they haven't given this like high quality raw to the public is because most people's computers can't handle it, you know.
Yeah.
So you've got to have very big machines, and data was a problem. So like, where are you going to get memory cards that can run fast enough to record raw, you know? Insane file sizes. Computers can't handle it and all this sort of stuff. But I mean, realistically, now we're starting to see cameras that are shooting in H.265, which is half the file size. So it means it can double the quality. It can shoot in 10-bit. If the camera manufacturer allows you to have the 10-bit, and I think they're starting to go down that line now, and that's going to be quite good, because I think 10-bit is just about that threshold where you can't tell gradation of colors. You can't tell it. 12 is like impossible to tell, you know. So yeah, but it's we're getting there slowly. We're getting there, but yeah.
Yeah, I want to get to the point that when you buy a TV and you turn it on and you look at the image is indistinguishable from reality.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Did you hear about the Douglas Trumbull experiment? He had Steven Spielberg and all the big famous movie directors, and he took them into a test. It was like a test, and he said, right, I want to show you, you know, like a new system for filming, and he showed them 120 frames a second filming, 120 frames a second of something that was comparable to like IMAX, but a very fast frame rate. So at those fast frame rates, it kind of gets rid of the grain a little bit. You know, you have to shoot in much brighter conditions because of the higher frame rate, but you know, people said like, oh, it's amazing. But they all walked out of there, everybody, including Spielberg, and said, but it won't take on, because the format is so big, it's going to be too expensive to film in.
Right.
And we're distributing it to cinemas. So how are you going to send them copies of something that costs 10 times what a copy costs to send them now? You know?
And there's something to be said about the cinematic quality, that 24 frames a second that we've all grown to love. Right, we love that kind of filmic kind of feeling from 24 frames. They did an experiment when the Hobbit came out. Remember that? Because Peter Jackson filmed it all in 4K. No, I think it's filmed in 6K.
In HFR.
Was it like 120 frames a second?
48. 48.
Was it 48? I saw it in
double 24. Yeah.
I saw it in the theater at that frame rate.
I did too.
And I didn't like it. I did not like it, because you're just not used to it. It looks like you're looking at TV.
It does.
You know?
And the 3D was too clean. 3D was too clean.
Yeah.
And this is the uncanny valley, and they experienced it with The Hobbit, because they to make the 3D look very good, they kept it clean, because then the eye kind of sees two objects and the brain goes, that is the same object. When you put noise in there between the two eyes, the brain isn't quite sure what's going on, so you don't see the 3D so strong. So they did keep it clean, and they said, we're going to give you as clean as it comes off the cameras. Now that's interesting, because what they're saying is, look, this is how clean the cameras we use, because they're expensive cameras. This is how clean it shoots it. Yeah? So we don't have to touch it. We don't have to noise clean it. This is how good it is. This is how clean it is, yeah? And it looked too weird, because people were not used to it.
I didn't like it. I don't like it.
And it was like, bloody hell, what's this shit, you know?
It was very off-putting.
So when they released it on DVD, they added the noise. They added fake film noise back onto a clean image, because it was what people were expecting to see. Otherwise, they go, "What's wrong with this? I bought this movie and it's just like it's weird. What's wrong?" But people wouldn't know how to describe what was wrong. They wouldn't understand how to describe what was wrong. It's like, well, there's something wrong with this. What do you mean? It's got double the frame rate, sir.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but double the frame rate is crap. And it's like, I don't know, double,
Well, it's
double,
like,
and it's double, and it's clean image, sir.
Remember when back in the mid to late 90s when they started releasing widescreen movies on VHS or on DVD, and people would be upset.
Hmm.
There's something wrong with this DVD. What's wrong with it? Well, when I play it, there's these black bars on the screen,
Yeah.
and it's cut half the screen off.
Yeah.
You got it. No, actually, no. You're seeing more, not less.
Yeah.
But people, they were not. They wanted it to fill their entire. That's why they released two versions of the film: widescreen and full frame. Because people wanted it to fill their entire TV screen.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you did lose quality by having those black bars there because it was just wasted real estate. I mean, unless you had what was known as a stretch, which was anamorphic, so you actually stretch the screen out, but then you're losing the quality because it's stretching the pixels, doubling them, and therefore it's still a fuzzy wide, So it didn't help, but at least what it was is as the director intended it, as it was shown in a cinema where the screens are wide,
Yeah.
But of course, America was very, very slow to take on what we're looking at here, which is 16:9. America was living in 4:3 land, 4:3 like that. Yeah, America was living in 4:3 land, while cinema Academy movies were shot in 16:9, and some of the CinemaScope stuff was 2:3:5:1.
Yeah. Much bigger. I remember noticing because I used to collect laser discs in the 90s, and I remember when Communion came out on Laserdisc with director's commentary, and I was like all into it, and I ran out and I bought the disc, and it was in widescreen, and I couldn't wait to see it in widescreen, and I watched it and I enjoyed it, but it never seemed right, and then I watched the copy I had on VHS, which was 4:3, and what they'd done was, which was a fucking ripoff, was that they'd taken the 4:3 image and just put two black bars on the top and the bottom, so you just get the middle. So there's more visual information in the 4:3 than there is in the 185 or whatever it was. It was very disconcerting. I was not happy by that.
That's bullshit. They should not do that. That's wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a great movie.
Do you know what? We used to put a gate in. You're supposed to put a gate in for widescreen movies. So when it comes from what is it? Let's say my ibuprofen packet is about 4:3. That's like 4:3. So cinema film. Well, this is I've got some 70mm here. This is widescreen 70mm.
What film is that from?
I don't know. I haven't worked it out, but it's got like some Indians standing there with like spears on the end of sticks. I don't know what it's from though. But it's not quite like this. It's half this, but that's how it comes, right? And it comes down the frames like that.
Yeah.
But then in the projector, you slide in the black bars. You slide in a gate that cuts it off. But it's cut off anyway. If you look at the film, it's got the black. But just to be sure, you slide in the gate anyway. And one or two movies I noticed actually was shot most of that and processed like that. Every once in a while, they went boop, and there was like extra, like they hadn't edited it correctly. And it had extra information, but it wasn't meant to be there. So you didn't have these black borders. And it was like halfway through the movie, you could see, if you didn't put the gate in, you could see stuff happening on the black, because you had to black the screens out, like we got up here, right?
Yeah.
Black and black. You have to put black on the screen to make it look sharp, to make that black line look sharp. So you actually put black vinyl on the screen.
Yeah.
And then you just close in the curtains on the edge to make it 16:9 and 4:3.
I used to hear stories of when widescreen laser discs or widescreen DVDs back in the day, watching them on a 4:3 TV with the black bars, people used to get card and tape the card over the black bars on the screen and then turn the lights out so you don't get any light bleed, because even though you got the black bars, it's not pure black. You're still seeing like a gray light coming through there. And you put cardboard or cover those up, and that would really make the image pop. It would look a lot better.
Yeah.
With covering up the letterbox, you know.
Well, I just thought it was fascinating because I know that the technique behind editing is called like offline editing. You have like a low resolution copy in a video editing machine, and you chop it together. So it's like, I want this scene, this scene, this scene, this scene, this scene, and it's like, and then it's gone to the duplicating house, and they replicate the commands of what scenes you want, and they chop the film to the to the exact things. But some of these things were not chopped in with the black borders, but you actually had stuff that was never intended to be seen, like the microphones and, you know, extra stuff that was not meant to be seen.
That was,
and I was
still
just
in
like,
shot.
what the hell? And it was like a couple of movies I saw that came out, and it was like, you're meant to do this. It's meant to be. You're meant to block this out. We're meant to put the gate in for safety to block it out as well.
Yeah.
But who's going to watch this full 4:3 because it doesn't exist?
Yeah.
And I was weird, you know. And it's like, well, what's going to be there in the corner of these images that they never intended you to see on some movies that, like, you know, you're going to see all sorts of shit that you weren't supposed to see.
Well, they did that with the Kennedy assassination footage, the Zapruder film. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
When they digitally scanned the original film, they scanned it in at a very high resolution, and the film, you know, like you got the perforations in the film. Well, usually that's black, right? And you have the frames.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the camera that Zapruder used to film the assassination, the film itself, it would do the center, but it would also bleed over into the perforations. So you'd have more image on the perforations. And when you run it through a projector, you don't see that. You just see the little square.
Yeah.
But when they had the original film and they scanned it in at high resolution, you know, 4K or whatever, you could see more information through the perforations. So it might probably on YouTube where you can see it. But I remember buying the DVD back in the late 90s, early 2000s, where they did this new, where you could actually see all this new information. Very crisp, very clear. And they could slow it down, see his head popping on, all that stuff. Interesting.
Yeah. Looks weird when you got that the mask, and then every once in a while there's something moves there and my eye gets drawn across to it. You know, it's like, what's going on over there? What's going on?
Fan blowing here. It's pretty still kind of outside, but I got a fan going in there.
Oh, so am I gonna go for gold and have one more? You haven't been matching me with any beers, but then I didn't. The
Look early for beers for me. In fact, I don't have any in the fridge right now.
I was going to say, but I didn't bring you on to match me with beers. I said, if you come on, I'll go and get some more beers. So I didn't specify that you had to match me beer for beer. So yeah.
Beers in I do have some beers, but they're not cold, so I'd have to put them in the freezer, I guess. Get them cold down. To get them nice and cold. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, lovely.
So they've only just been put in the fridge?
No, they're not in the fridge. They're right here on the floor.
Oh.
I need to put them, to cool them extra fast, I have to put them in the freezer.
That's true. Or you could get some ice cubes.
Well, I'm not going to put ice in beer.
Ice in beer?
No.
As long as you drink it quick enough.
Nah, I'm not going to do that. That's crazy. What?
Get your ice in your beer. Come on.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
What's the next explore for you then? Last question, then we'll call it night.
It's the fridge. It's the fridge. Well, if it's gonna be the last question, then the next explore, apart from the fridge, which would have been the fridge, but I'm gonna save one can then. Yeah, would be Plymouth is a candidate because there's some stuff down there, and the lads have been asking me to come down there. There's a big bunker, which I want to go and have a look at, and I've heard it could be accessible for a time. So I'm going to go and have a look at that, possibly. And
Another question. Did you see the phenomenon yet?
I believe I may have the other night.
Well, it didn't make that much of an impression on you then? Or did you fall asleep or something?
I believe my mate Steve paid for it, and I had a look at it, and I just went, "It's okay," but I've heard all these stories 100 times before.
Right. But
You know.
you'll see things you've never seen before. Like the Lonnie Zamora case.
Oh yeah, his wife.
Well, no, there's more than that.
Well, I've never seen a woman with more a square chin than that.
But there's footage of him at the crash site with the FBI and J. Allen Hynek, which I'd never seen before. So I mean, how the hell he got a hold of this, I don't know. But there's lots of moments like that where we're all familiar with these cases. They've been around forever, but you see things concerning these cases that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was one of the best documentaries I've seen ever.
It was well produced, and they did get exceptionally high quality imagery and things. I can't remember the Lonnie Zamora bit, but I think I nodded a few times during it because that was just the nature of the night. I'd had a meal around a friend's house and had a couple of pints, and I started nodding when it was on, and Steve was, I think, he kind of like amazed that I would not be awake for the whole experience, but it was like, bless him.
I thought you would have been all up in this shit.
And then when I was like came around, I looked at him, he's like, "Oh, you're awake, are you?" And I was like, "Yes, what have I missed?" It's like, so I probably missed some bits. I should probably look at it again.
Watch it again. I think there's a lot of stuff in there that even though, you're right, we know all these stories, but you kind of see them through new eyes. There's new stuff. We know the story, but it's shown in a way that you're like, oh, I never saw that before. Oh, that's interesting. And I never knew about it. That kind of stuff.
I mean, I was amazed, like, seeing his wife, Lonnie Zamora's wife. And things like that. It was like this whole angle. I do like that attention to detail.
The meta material?
Was there in there?
Yeah. That was brand new. I'd never seen any of that, and that was groundbreaking. But they only scratched the surface. They only showed a tiny piece of information that hinted to a much larger story. But I was like, fuck, that was incredible. Ooh. With Jacques Vallée and the metal fragments.
Yes, I remember Jacques Vallée because he was going on about the beams hit them in the chest, and then they, and I was like, oh yeah, and I was talking about the Chupa Chupas and all that, and I was like, Chupa Chupas, not the Chupacabras, because they're different. Okay. Chupa Chupas are the refrigerators that float.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the refrigerators. Yeah.
Mm. And
the metallurgy that was groundbreaking because the technology is because they've had these metal pieces for like 80 years or something, right? And not known, they didn't have the right equipment to examine them correctly. But now we're starting to get to the point where we can really get into the ins and outs of the creation of these metal fragments. And while the metal itself, there's nothing exotic there. There's zinc and aluminum and all standard shit that's available on Earth. So there's no like, well, we've discovered a piece of metal that we have no idea. There's none of that. We all know what the metal is. But the metal is, different metals are joined together at the molecular level, which is impossible. And the metal fragments that they have are clearly manufactured. They're not found naturally in the universe. So these are manufactured pieces of metal that are manufactured at the molecular level, and we simply do not know how to do that. So it opens up the question: well, who the fuck built? Who manufactured these things? It wasn't us.
Ant-Man.
Yes, Ant-Man and the Wasp. They did it.
So, I I always think with things like this though, because of experiences. Just because what's happened to me, it's like kind of, like if you've had a lot of phone calls where people have been trying to, like, hello sir, I am from Microsoft. It's like you get used to it, yeah. So it's like I've done this a lot over the years, right? So just go with me, because I'm
Okay.
gonna. When people say things like, "Oh, we got this sample, it's manufactured on a molecular level," I'm going like, and which scientists said this, and who are they, and where do they work for, and because I've had people like tell me shit like about
Right.
stuff I've been involved with, like the crop
Sure.
circles, and I'm not saying they're wrong, but I'm also saying, yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't have microwaves with us when we were making this crop circle,
You have a healthy skeptical attitude.
Mm.
Right? And
You
that should
have
be-
to you
has to
have
be-
to kind of question who said that, where,
Yeah.
it's like, because
Well, it boils down to who do you trust?
yeah,
Right? Who is less likely to bullshit you? Now, in the scene is Jacques Vallée, which he's an incredibly well respected UFO researcher, a pioneer.
absolutely, and I love the guy to death, and he's great, and he's very intelligent, but oh boy, did he look like a frigging geek when he was a youngster. And
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't have gone near him with a barge pole.
No,
He's like
well, that was
stomping
something-
around with those glasses on and that hairstyle. I mean, bloody hell.
That was the thing. Another thing in that movie, the phenomenon is that we. see
Sorry,
these
Jack.
old-
Sorry, Jack. You'll never speak to me now. But
We see these old
that was
photos of-
next level. That's like, if there was ever alien proof on this planet, it was like that hairstyle.
Yeah, he's got the Beatle haircut, and then
You see, I'm not racist, right? But like sort of afros, right? They're like this big,
yeah.
and you just go, what are you doing with this shit? It's like, that's not normal. That's not normal. How'd you get that in the bath? How'd you walk through a door? How do you, where do you live?
Well, that was the
Yeah.
style back, I guess, right? That was the thing.
He's a tall
And then
guy, but his hairstyle was like, was it making up? Did he have Did he have like stilt boots on to like make him like 7'2"? Because his hair was getting a bit close to it,
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Jack.
But yeah, that's kind of taking away from can't judge a book by the cover.
I know. I mean, it's the information, and he's a very good author, and I love the stuff. But I mean, there was like this element of geekdom, which was like, I didn't even realize he kind of looked quite as geeky as he did when he was young. I would never have taken him seriously. I met him wandering around going,
Hang on a sec. Hang on. Matt, I have to leave, unfortunately. We continue this again, but
I know I've offended the mask. I can tell. Look, it's looking frowning at me now. It's like, you speak badly of the Jacques.
Exactly, good job. All right,
Yeah.
have a good night, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Cheers, mate. Bye bye. Has it got Angel the dog device not connected? So we're not gonna have that then, are we? Anyway, guys, I'm gonna save that beer for another time. And I think I've managed to keep this almost safe, apart from showing my underwear, which was in fact very safe, right? I'm pretty sure it was impossible for anything bad to come out of there, because I'd stitched it up long before so that nothing accidental could happen. And I'll stand by those stitches. But yeah, I mean, I just cannot get over, because I watched that documentary. Like you say, you see all these interviews and there's that. I cannot get over how Jacques Vallée looked like the most nerdy sort of geek that I would have never taken seriously in a million years. Now he looks like a cool guy, and I listen to him and I go, Jacques Vallée. But back then, I would never have bought like a second-hand car off that guy or anything. I wouldn't have bought a computer, laptop. I would have even questioned a bike, if he like sold me a bike, I'd be like looking at the tires, thinking, "So what have you done here, mate?" You know, it's like, but it is the quality of the research, not how the people look. And I suppose you have to put it down to like, it's not how you look, it's the quality of the research. And a lot of radio presenters who put forward great information, they're not exactly the most. They're not Miss World material. Let's put it like that. So yeah. Hello, FFS, LOL. Yeah. Mindset. Drop the link so other people can listen. So they can list onto one side whilst they turn, like a bird. So they can list like a turn. So like a bird that is turning, like, or a turn, a seagull that's called a turn, and they list as they spin around. There we are. Videos no longer kid safe. Yes, that's the one. Richard Warnock says reverse technologies. Yeah. Luke, wait, I can't stop laughing. Okay. Scene Raised by Wolves, the TV show. Oh my god. Is that... Hang on, that's not that guy who like eats the same raw meat as the wolves so you'll smell. That's disgusting. Absolutely vile. Ugh. Land Rover's sent me £2 for the word screen. Name on screen. I don't know. Oh, is it? What's this doing up here then? Oh, how did that get up there? Bastard. Because I clicked on this thing down here, Angel the dog. Oh, he's going to tell me that I got to... Right. What's wrong?
Hello, Matt. You can see Dick fist bump on the screen.
He's just been telling me this, yeah. Well, it's got. There's two. Right. Okay. Hang on. I'll just show people. Right. What I'm dealing with. Yeah. See. Hang on. I'll just show people what I'm having to deal with here. Right. If I move this up, right. There's somebody who's determined to connect to me called Angel the dog. Right. And if I click on Angel the dog to kick him, his real name is yeah, see? So, you know what I mean? What can I do when you get people who do this shit, yeah? I can go ban from studio. There we are. Ban them. Yeah? But I'm sorry, everybody. It wasn't intentional, but there we are. Thank you, though. Are you keeping it well?
Yeah. I'm still in the chat.
Are you? Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad, because I'm just about to go. Is this good? Would you be happy if I went?
Yeah, that's fine. It is 1:25, Matt.
I reckon it's time to go, isn't it? Because I was feeling tired earlier on. I think I've just fought through it now. I know somebody else who's ready to go. Watch this now.
Okay, Matt.
It won't take long, but you can watch and you can see in 30 seconds time, you can see the results of my experiment.
See you later.
What? What do you want? She's like, I'm not want those. Well, you didn't want this because you honestly look like when you came up here that's what you're interested in. She's like, no, I would never. Do you want this? She's like, no. Look. She's like, I would never come up here for that. I'm not that sort of dog. Here you go. Have this. No, I would never do that to you, she says, even though she's drooling. Oh, you don't want to stick your head in a pack? What, really? She's like, no. I'm not that sort of dog. But if you give me just one, I'll have it. If I give her, oh, here we go. Now, see, I've never told this dog that she cannot stick her head right in a packet of crisps. Somebody has, and it must have stuck with her from being a puppy. She's like, yeah, see? She's like afraid of the packet. but she'll have a crisp. See? What's that then? This is like dog guilt. It's like, I'm not looking at your meal, but I'll have a chip. I'm definitely not looking at that pasty, but I'll have a bit of it. You know what I mean? I love dogs. I love dogs. I don't know. Maybe it's just an inbuilt thing. It's like, no, no, no. I don't want to steal. I don't want to steal your food, but I will have a lick. I think this is the fallacy of animals. It's like, no, I'm not really looking at your food, but it's like you turn away and they're like, but I am really. You're like, oh, I'm not looking at you anymore. And you can see out the corner of your eye, but I am really looking. And you look at them and they go, oh no, I'm looking over here. I'm not looking at the food. And then you sort of pretend like you're looking away, but I am really. Isn't it? Isn't it? You know, don't you? You do. Do you want that? No? Do you want it? No. You sure you do want it? No. But I bet you if I went like this really quickly at the same speed, if I went crisp, see? No problem. Yeah? So they know. They're not stupid. You're like, no, 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 I'm not looking at you. I'm not looking at you. But I can have a little bit. Oh. She just focused on the one crisp and she was like the crisp and she was ignoring the packet. That's an interesting phenomenon as well. Look at that, right? So it's like, normally, if I do the, look at my crisps, she's like, I look away. Hang on, watch this now. She's like, I look away. I look away. But watch now, if I hold a crisp up, here we go. Here we go, sit down. Right, if I hold a crisp up, right? She's focused on the crisp now. Now she ignores the packet. Yeah? Now she ignores the packet. Yeah? Because she's focused on the crisp. One crisp. You see? You see? I think there's a Richard Attenborough documentary in this called The Power. It should be on the BBC, right? The Power of the Crisp. Right? Yeah, right. See? Once they've locked on, then those morals go out of the window. But on its own, she looks away. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, I don't want. No, I don't want. But a crisp in the air, I don't care. I'm interested in the crisp. I don't care. What is that about? Yeah? So anyway, on that note, with more doggy experimentation, we'll be back soon. Good night, folks. It's been a blast. I will leave this up because I think it's fairly safe. I don't think we haven't sworn. We've been suggestive, and suggestive is okay. Okay, but we've not been foul-mouthed potty poops. Okay, so we shall catch you soon. Chris Thornley and all that want to see me go to bed, because you probably want to go to bed too. It's been a good one. I'll leave it up because it's fairly safe for children, I think. So let's try and be safe for children forever. Even though I don't really want kids watching my stuff, but apparently YouTube says it's got to be safe for children. Yeah, whatever. I don't want them watching my stuff, but anyway, there we are. Catch you later on, folks. Good night. Where do I press? Let me press something to go